Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Give me 1 second. Let me get a sound check. All right. Okay, we are back. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is DavidMeni, Samoan Watchman. Hope you're doing well. Peace and blessings unto you. Praise and glory to the Almighty, Jesus Christ. Hope you're doing, I just hope all is well. Hope you're enjoying your Friday as we get into this weekend. We got a few things planned. And, it's been a minute since I put out a video. And I wanted to get into this, since I've always been talking about how I'm going to cover Disney and the agenda. I know a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are told about how there's a lot of sexual innuendos when it comes to Disney. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And you got to really look close to find the little things that they hide in the Disney movies. But it's once you see it, man, you can't unsee it, and you start to notice that it's been there since the beginning, since they started making movies. They've always been trying to indoctrinate us, and this is a channel where we question everything and where we point out the devices of our enemy. This is what we're all about here in this channel, here in the Samoan Watchman Channel. I got to come up with a name for the show. I really do. But either way, spent a good part of the day reading up on jinns. And this is going to be really my first breakdown of a particular Disney movie. I've been talking about it here and there, mentioning a few things that I've seen along the way. I definitely need to do the Eternals. I got to cover Wanda and Doctor Strange, although those are kind of self-explanatory. And it's just funny how they are showing up. And I forgot who said it. I think it was Steve who said it. Steve Harlow who said it yesterday in his live. There's words that come up as he was talking with Chadwick. There's words that come up when in mainstream media and mainstream entertainment, and there'll be words that are used that are not typically used, and then all of a sudden you just can't stop hearing it. It's just going to keep popping up, and that's how it works. That's part of the propaganda. They all say the same thing. They all push the same stuff and talk about the same topics, just to get the idea across and to get everybody on that hive mindset, but Um, Today I'm going to cover the most recent movie we've watched or series. My wife and I, on our days off, we like to stay up late and binge watch a little bit. We try to stay away from streaming services. We definitely do not watch Netflix again. We haven't watched Netflix in I don't know how long it's been, but that definitely is very blatant as far as what they represent and how they represent it. It's almost like they're not even trying to hide it anymore, but it's all good. Um, Let me see if I can view this. I need to be able to watch the chat on my phone or something. But I'm very excited about the show. Um, we are at 222 subs and it's growing every day. It's a few more. So thank you to all the new subs that are coming in. For those of you who don't know what kind of channel this is a truther channel. We teach people pretty much. Oh, we just question everything. I'm not a person who knows it all. Definitely not the smartest person on the block, or just a person who sees things. And I pray for wisdom. And it seems like a lot of people have gotten away from that heavenly wisdom, that wisdom that you could only get from God. And it seems like a lot of people are kind of just falling for everything that other people would, say other facts that are, I'm saying, like when situations come up, you have a choice. You can ask God for help, or you can seek other people. So you can seek man, and a lot of people turn to man, and that kind of irritated me. And so I just decided to speak up on my channel and create something where we can start to question everything. You know what I'm saying? So, give me 1 second here. I got to take care of this. So, yeah, I got my little ones over here, and, but I'm excited to be back. I'm to get back on this, to start putting some content out there. And these are blue blockers. These are not subscription for anybody who watches. Uh, Dang, what is his name? Fleckus Talks. And forget you, Rat Boy. Richard Rat Boy, man, made a comment about blue blockers. And I'm on a computer a lot these days with homeschooling and with the podcast and with other things that I'm working on and with work. So yeah, forget you. Today we're going to talk about this lady right here. One of the latest shows is Miss Marvel. Now, Miss Marvel is one of the characters that, well, it's the first Muslim character. And, I've noticed that there's been a big push on diversity lately with Disney and the things that they're trying to do, the things that they're trying to portray. And they're definitely covering different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds. Moon Knight goes into the Egyptian world and the Egyptian folklore, the Egyptian mysticism and mythologies. And over here with Miss Marvel, we cross over into the Muslim world, which is a new thing for Marvel. And I'm not against it at all. I'm definitely not a Muslim, but today we're going to be covering a lot about what the Quran says, because we're going to be covering Jinn. Um, I was watching the show, and like again, I do not promote Disney at all, or most of the streaming services out there. A lot of it is garbage, and they portray garbage. But I am a fan of of Disney. Growing up, well, I'm not a fan, but I grew up watching Disney. I grew up watching Marvel. I'm a huge Marvel nerd, right? And so I got my first ever Colossus comic book right here on the wall. You can't see it, and I got my Colossus Funko Pop from my brother. Colossus is my favorite character. What's up? Hook that you are? Yes, absolutely. We're talking about Miss Marvel today. Don't spoil. Okay, well, if you're somewhere in the middle, if you're at least episode 3, uh, you should know a little bit what I'm talking about. And so, I am a believer in Jesus Christ, and you know, I we've always known that Hollywood and science has gone against the Bible, against biblical teachings, against the Savior, and they just it seems like they're always trying to. Um, Either rebel against the word of God or mock the word of God, either through um, what is it? They try to copy. The devil's always trying to copy things that God can do, like try to be everywhere at once, be omnipotent, right? To control the weather. That's something I'm going to control. And I'm a big conspiracy theorist, and yeah, I'm past that. Okay, so nothing new. I'm not gonna. What do you call that? No spoilers here. So as long as you're there, then you're past that. You're good. Give me one sec. I gotta move some of these windows over. Hopefully that doesn't mess up my stream. Where'd you guys go? Okay, one second. All right, I think I got it. Dang, see, I was doing good, and then I started touching stuff. Okay, so my computer is down. My main computer is broken, and I think I can fix it, but I'm not gonna try because I don't want to make it worse. So I'm just gonna use this uh laptop that I get from homeschooling. They sent me an extra one. Don't tell them. And I'm supposed to be doing schoolwork, and I know they're monitoring it, so they're gonna be like, "What the hell? What are they doing on the laptop?" And what's up, Ronnie? And I'm glad you're here, man. I was supposed to do this earlier, but I had to do a little bit more research into the Jinn and get their background. So I wanted to do it right. Don't just come up here and just call everybody demonic and then just leave it at that. Uh, Tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this in there for anybody that wants to get on. Because I know Ron knows a little bit about it. And so the Jinn is the topic of the day, right? Some people call them demons. Some people will argue with that and say, "Oh, no, they're not demons. There's something else." And then there's genies, and then there's Jinn. There's Jinn with a Jinn, and then there's Jinn with a DJIN. All right, and so I read this article today, and the what do you call it? The website to that article is in the description. It's from sunsigns.org. I don't like the name of that, but uh, I do like what he covered there. He's someone who's experienced in this, and I listened to a couple sermons today. I don't know if they're called sermons in the what you call it in the Muslim community, but I listened to a couple teachings, a couple talks on the Jinn. All right, already. Be glad to have you on. And so I had to listen to these guys and what they talk about because I want to know what the Muslim think about the Jinn, and it's pretty much what we as Christian folk uh, refer to as demons. Very similar. And today I'm gonna talk to you about some of the things that they do to call on the Jinn, just so you're aware. And because you're going to see a lot of the symbolism in the movies, one of my main things to do here, one of the main things I want to do here on this show is cover the symbolism that you find in Hollywood. I know there's a lot of channels that do it, but some people miss some things. And so I'm just here to talk about what I can see. I'll be listening to some voice. Oh, thank you. I'm getting that a lot. I got that today. Oh man, today I lost. I was so sad today. On a quick note, I have some issues with a tooth, and I got a new dentist, and she is freaking amazing. I love her because it was so painless. I go in there, take a nap, and she's waking me up like, "You're done." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" Because I had some bad experiences, and I had one dentist that left me crying all the way home, and today she was like, "It's bad news. You're hurting my back because you're so big." I go, "What do you mean?" She says she has to like not just lay me down, but on a decline, and she still couldn't reach past my shoulders to get into my mouth to do the work. And she said it was too dangerous for me because she's not able to reach, and neither are her assistants are able to reach into my mouth. And so they said we're going to have to reject any more services to you, any more appointments. I was like, what? I felt so defeated and rejected today on that. And I was sitting there just like, what am I going to do? I got to find another dentist. Who else is going to take care of me like this lady? I live in the areas mostly Chinese people, and so yeah, I could barely fit on that whatever you call it, chair, bed thing, and yeah, I was sad. I went home sad, and I was like, told my wife, I was like, damn, I lost my dentist. She was like, what did you do? And I was like, no, she said like, she can't work on me no more. And as I'm sitting there, she's explaining to me what's going to happen to my teeth and what the next doctor has to do. She was like, your voice is so calm and soothing. I was like, it's like, don't tell me that. I felt like I just got dumped. I don't want to hear that right now. You know what I mean? But yeah, appreciate that. Anyways, let's see. I'm gonna get into a couple things you got to know about jinns, right? About these people right here, right? So jinns. First of all, I didn't know she was a jinn, and I should know. I'm a Marvel guy. I didn't know anything about Miss Marvel. I don't pay attention to a lot of the newer characters or anybody that doesn't look like a Colossus. I'm like not that interested. But yeah, she's it was a cool show. It was a little hard to get into in the beginning, but I muscled through it and I actually started getting into it towards the end. It was actually kind of cool. But if you know Disney, if you know what they're all about, you got to know these things that I'm about to share. So magicians. So the things about jinns is they tend, and in their wording, they tend to be involved with magicians, and magic is a huge, huge thing. Magic is a big thing in the occult. Let me see. I'm trying to look past my camera here. That does yeah, yeah, absolutely. Big characters. Yep. Yeah, I was watching it with my husband. We enjoyed it. But yeah, I know. Like even Moon Knight, I wasn't really into Moon Knight, and they made it. It's good that they're making shows on other characters. I wish Colossus would get a show, but they keep screwing him over. He did all right in Deadpool, but so um, the occult has a lot to do with magic. They like magic. Especially, apparently there's different types of magic, and black magic is one of the big things that the occult use if you're into studying the underground. And the people that are really in charge, or think that they're in charge, people who really hate the Bible, hate Jesus Christ, they hate anything that is against the satanic realm. And so there's that whole thing, right? Jinns always are attached to magicians. So pretty much it's what they call a magician is someone who has power, but only because they are using the power of a jinn. Right. And so the way that happens is they need to call upon the chief jinn, which is known as Shaitan or Satan, and they have to come into an agreement. And so, and I'll break that I'll break that down a little further as I move in and see. Jinns are afraid of being removed from the host or the person who calls. Uh, uh, they're afraid when they're assigned to somebody or a magician, uh, which gives a magician their power, which is how they do magic tricks. Which in TV they're gonna say, "Oh no, this is how they really did it, smoke and mirrors," but there's actually a spiritual force behind that stuff. That's why when I was a kid, my auntie, she was always like yelling at my mom, like, "Don't let your kids watch those magic shows," because magic shows used to come out all the time on the little programs that would come on at night, right? And those programs would come. So the programs that will come on, primetime television, they'll have magic specials. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I don't remember it being around for a long time. Magicians will come on and do a little special, for an hour or two. And I used to love that stuff. I grew up watching David Copperfield and mainly David Copperfield. And then, there was a few other magicians, like comedic magicians that would come on stage. And apparently they all have to do with the devil. I didn't know, but let's see. Hook the yarn says I couldn't finish Deadpool. Sorry for. Oh no, you're good. You're good. We need more interaction in the chat. I'm coming on kind of late, and uh, yeah, it's all good. I like the interaction. I just have my camera stand in the way this time because I had to arrange things differently. So let me see if I can move this. There you go. I think this is better. I did it. Okay. Yeah, now I can see the chat. I'm still a rookie at this thing, but it is what it is. And we got Ronnie York.
What's up, David?
How you doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm hanging in there as always. You know, once you get old, it's all you can do. About the
Same here,
demons
man.
and gins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I see you know a bit about these guys.
Well, you know what? I don't know a whole lot about them other than that they're an Arabic or Arabic, however you want to say that word,
Mhm.
form of a demon, a ghost, many things to many people, I guess.
Yeah.
But I know they respect the heck out of them.
Yes, they do. You know, and there's a lot of there's a lot of it's just like our demons in our language or in our culture and our religions. Uh, they have a lot of people that even in their own religion that still don't believe in it, but um, I've seen some some fake. YouTube's got all the fake videos of them and people pretending like they're possessed. But then I've seen some ones that are pretty crazy, pretty nuts, and so the Muslim, I know there's a lot of Muslims in the like Malaysia, Singapore, in the
Mm-hmm.
Asian countries, and when I see them get possessed by demons, it's actually kind of funny. I was trying not to laugh, but I was like, they all get into like karate stances and stuff, and I was like, this is crazy.
Well,
You
maybe the gins are karate experts, kung fu or somebody.
know? So I don't wonder why this knee would make them show. Yeah, exactly, right? Because they always have to highlight, the enemy and what the enemy wants to do. This knee is super question was always. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I did. I laughed. It was like a guard in the mosque, and then he turned around and walked up to the main guy that was preaching or talking on the mic, and he was like this, like trying to like square up with the guy on the mic, and the guy on the mic was like calling him out, calling out the demon, and then he started doing this stuff. I was like, whoa, what the heck?
Mhm.
And the funny thing is, there's like 4 or 5 videos of different people that all break out into a karate stance. They just turned into Bruce Lee all of a sudden, man. It was hilarious. It was different than the Arabic, Muslim that we see.
Oh yeah, I've seen several of them, in the past years, where these guys, one of them say my brother or my friend or whatever was killed in the Gulf War, and these are
Uh-huh.
all, Iraqis or whatever, not from this country, but from other countries, and but their brothers or whatever got killed somewhere or another, and they all, they'll be walking down the hall. And then all of a sudden, these guys, will, in a hospital or whatever, then these guys will stop, and they're, the ghost that is, will stop, and
Mm.
he'll just take this weird, you know, uh, well, you just have to see those videos. He goes to bobbing and weaving and stuff. It's
Yeah.
just, it's just so stupid. I don't know if they're trying to say those are jinns
Uh-huh.
or if those are actual ghosts of the people that are supposedly passed.
Mm. So they say that um, jinns and genies. So genies they're very similar, and they said that genies were humans in the past, and now they are attached to items, and jinns were made from fireless smoke, and that God actually took the smoke from the fire that he would use a fire, and you
Hmm.
wouldn't see the smoke because he'd take the smoke and turn that into the jinn.
Oh, okay.
And so
Well, see, I thought forever that the jinns and genies was the same thing. Now I didn't know that part that you just told me there
yeah,
about.
so this is
Go
just
ahead.
going off of the different mysticisms and their explanations of it all. In the end, I'd say that they're all just demons. Just
Mhm.
everybody has an explanation for a demon. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the islands, demons are portrayed different ways too. Like there'll be times where I've heard stories of kids that come over from Samoa and they'll be like, "Oh, in the islands, if a tree slaps you, You're not supposed to get mad. You're not supposed to react. You got to keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what do you mean a tree slaps you? And they would say like a tree branch would just whack, like as you're walking by, smack you in the face. And you're supposed to not react to it. You're supposed to keep walking and ignore it. And then if you do react, then you're supposedly cursed and stuff. And there's all kinds of weird stuff that we see in culture, you know.
Well, I wonder, where do the, I mean, like in your culture, do the people actually think they see ghosts, or is it just certain things that like that like the tree slapping you?
I've heard stories, people saying that they've seen shadowed figures with red eyes, glowing red eyes. One of my good friends told me that back, when he was living there as a child, he would play basketball. They had a little court that they built, and you know, they had some light. He would say it was getting dark, and he shot the ball up in the air, and if before it can get into the hoop, something caught it with black hands. He said he could see this black hands on the ball, and above it were two glowing red eyes, and he ran into where his parents were, But
Really?
yeah. And I've also heard a story of when I heard about the tree. There were the twins, these twin brothers, and they were walking home, and one got smacked, and he turned around, and I guess it's been happening, and he got fed up and started ripping branches off and cursing the tree, and the family had to run out there and ask for forgiveness. And I was like, I don't know, these are just stories I hear. I don't know if I mean, I don't think a 9-year-old would make that up.
No, you wouldn't think so. No, I mean, you think they'd be the ones trying to keep it out of their brain, not bring it on forward.
Yeah. Hook the Yarn says Puerto Rican culture has things like that. If you drop a fork or spoon, someone is coming over. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Filipinos have their own too. Like they have this creature that something to do with banana trees and salt. And that if you see the demon or if you feel the demon, you're supposed to make a circle of salt around you and you're protected. Or
Yeah, it's the same here.
And I'm like, but how long are you supposed to stay there? What happens? What happens when you got to go take a piss? Like, I don't know.
Well,
Well,
what? I don't know if you've ever heard my story, my ghost story or not, David, but when it first started to happen, I was looking online, for things to overcome it or to help out. And one of them was set a glass of salty water by your bed at night. So I did that. Didn't do a thing. I mean, it just absolutely nothing. But it amazes me that a lot of people don't believe in demons or ghosts. Myself, I didn't either before all this happened to me. And I'm not a nut. I mean, well, I'm a nut, but I'm not that kind of nut. So I mean, it's just a man when it happens to you, an individual you. I mean, that definitely brings the knowledge or whatever you want to call it in the forefront.
oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
reason I got rid of it was because I was hearing growls. I mean, growls. It didn't sound like a dog at all. It was like a way more ferocious growl than a dog. And I thought, damn. I heard it once. I was in bed now. And so I grabbed my phone, turned the flashlight on, and looked. And I knew there couldn't be anything there in the corner because the corner was empty.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't anything there. So I turned the flashlight off, went back, I laid it back down, tried to go to sleep again, and it growled again. I mean, even more deep and ferocious sounding. So I got my flashlight and turned it back on again. Still wasn't anything there. At least it could be seen. And so I said, well, growl all night. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to sleep. And that's what made me, in the end, though, that and a few other things made me decide to get rid of this thing. So I'm not doubting that jinns are real. Maybe they've been exaggerated or mistold about somehow in the past. I mean, who knows? And I definitely, if they're demons, and that's what I think they are, well, then I believe they exist myself.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're dealing with the same thing worldwide. And it's just interesting to see the different iterations of them and explanations. And I put together some notes here of the Muslim and how they view it, and this guy even broke down the 8 different rituals and how they conjure up these things, and when you see someone with it, what it actually means. And so I'm gonna go through that, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, man, because I think we're seeing the same stuff. It's just people are just mixing it up, the explanations of it, and that's why I do this, because one of my big things, I'm really in this channel. I'm really against the entertainment industry and how they deceive people. I don't
It
like to see
is.
my yeah, I mean, it happens, and so I'm tired of seeing friends and family that are just so caught up into it. And I understand we grew up watching this stuff, man. My dad bought all the videos, all the VHS tapes of all the Disney stuff that came out. We grew up with this stuff.
Mhm.
It was good entertainment until we realized later on. But today it just seems like they just completely turned it up. They're just like full blast, put it all out there in front of our children, and the speed of how everything is coming out, it's just ridiculous. Especially now that we got internet and streaming services. It's no longer you gotta get your money and go down there buy a VHS tape and then you can receive your propaganda indoctrination. It's not like that anymore. Now it's just right there in our pockets, right there in our phones. So one of the things I want to do is break it down and just help people to realize what they're looking at here. It's not just a simple uh you know portrayal of a culture here. This is straight pushing children to go and cheer for a demon, you know.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Sean
That's what the
Osborne.
one eye stuff is. The
Yeah.
stuff like this, the thing in the middle of your eye. I mean, the
Uh-huh.
forehead, the all-seeing eye, or the pineal gland.
Yeah. Even the one the hush one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sean Osborne said if jinns are fire and air, what's water and earth? That's funny. Well, water and earth, that goes into our flat earth ideas and theories. You might want to look into that. Definitely is creepy stuff. Yep. The one thing I noticed too about the Muslim is they teach you the same things, but instead of calling Jesus, they would say to call on Allah. Um, but that it's funny, they seem to be responsive to the name, whether you use Yeshua or Yahusha or Jesus. I know some people get hung up on that stuff. Either one, it seems like these demons respond to that name. They know who the master is. I've even seen a ministry of UFOs as a church that goes around testifying different churches. They travel the United States talking about aliens, gray aliens. I don't know if you've heard about that. Where people would say that they wake up and there's gray aliens in their room, and they would call out the name of Jesus, and these things would disappear.
Yeah.
Like they would flee. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. When I know a lot of people are getting into the UFO thing too, and that's a big thing that's being pushed as well. All that too, all demonic. You see,
Well,
Jan
it
Jenna.
seems to me like that what they've been doing for years is not only calling the. That's what CERN was about. One of the main things that CERN was about was trying to bring in demons and all this other kind of crap. Whether they actually did it or not, I don't know. But that's what they were trying to do, according to their own scientists. But I think what they've accomplished is with the demons that were already here, fallen angels, whatever you want to call them.
Hmm.
I think they've created enough of their own demons that look like humans. That I don't know if we really got to be afraid of the real demons or not,
Hmm.
or the ones that's in our dreams, but the guy that's standing right next to us that we recognize as another person.
Yep. And that's why I was interested in this teaching when I listened to this Muslim teacher. Not that I'm promoting Muslim at all, but um, I was listening to the way they what they're teaching about these jinns and genies, and they're if you listen to it, you would have a good understanding if you don't have it already on how demons operate. That they take
Hmm.
different forms and very similar to angels because that's where they they're the fallen angels. That these things can shapeshift and it could be just like how you said a person right there next to you. you know
Exactly.
they might come across your path when you need it. Now the thing about jinns, and my biggest gripe against them is that we see them as like, all right, these things are demonic. Not that we're supposed to be afraid, like you said, but these things are definitely demonic. Now, what they teach is that they could be good or bad. That they have a personality.
Mm-hmm.
That they teach that these things also are subject to the wrath of God, and that when they leave Earth, that when they die here, they can go to heaven or hell, depending on their actions. And I was like, that's not what I want my kids to. What I'm saying? Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
that's a that's a false teaching right there. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's. I mean, that's not what we teach about demonic figures here in our culture. I like the tree in the face, hindsight, all of the tree slaps I received. I was living it up in the wilderness because definitely probably. Let's see. So you got some tree slaps. That's funny, bro. So
What do you
yeah,
think fallen angels are? I mean, demons are. Do you? I mean, I go by what the Bible says myself, and that's my understanding. But I want to see if our demons are alike.
so they are the angels that fell with Satan, right? That revolted, uh, that came down, and those angels had children with humans, and those were the
Mm-hmm.
giants. And then I believe the children of the giants are the Nephilim, right? And all of them were an abomination and couldn't, they were disembodied during the flood. That's what the flood was about, to get rid of them and the people that followed their teachings. That's where we got all they were taught magic and stuff. And sorry about that. And those are the disembodied spirits that are still walking around on earth today, the demons.
We're almost spot on. I mean, with our understanding. Well, mine was, and you might have said the same thing. Maybe I misunderstood a word or two there, but we're basically on the same thing. Mine is that the fallen angels, the ones that are the watchers that were here, well, they had children with women, and they did become the giants. And during the flood, and like I said, maybe I misunderstood a word or two here. During the flood, those giants were killed, and they're the ones that became the demons. Is that what you said? You're muted.
Oh, sorry about that. So yes, I've heard I've heard that it's the giants that are still around, and I've heard another theory that says the children of the giants that are still around. That was based on who was teaching that? I want to say Sean Griffin, from the Uncommon Ground channel. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No,
Uh, the, they're a flat Earth. They're teaching flat Earth and not Tartaria. They teach Torah and that kind of stuff. So I think they're spot on when it comes to flat Earth. However, they uh, they don't agree with Tartaria. They don't agree that those beings are still around to build those giant structures in Tartaria.
yeah.
Are you believe in Tartaria and like the World Fair stuff and all that?
Well, I've heard a lot about it, but I hadn't done any research at all on it to offer an opinion one way or the other. I'd just be totally lying if I said I did. So,
Those pictures are amazing when they see like the World Fairs and how they could build such a giant structure like that. And yeah, you heard flat Earth. What's
flat
up,
Earth,
champ?
flat Earth, flat Earth. No, but I have seen a lot of people talk about you talking about the World's Fair in Chicago?
Chicago, St. Louis, San Francisco. Um, those things. I mean, for them to build something that big and that fast, and I'm talking the buildings that hold 300,000 people, and to destroy that right afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying? Like, what was the point of why would you destroy that?
Now, I have seen that. I certainly have. I did. And that is a damn good question. Why would you? Why wouldn't you leave it there? I mean, you just built it.
Yeah,
Supposedly.
it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I like to visit that kind of stuff.
But they say they
And
built it so quick, that it was almost, unheard of that they could build it that quick. It's what at least one night that I saw,
Yeah.
The saying is they thought it was already there, and they just came in and remodeled it. Either that, or if it wasn't already there, then somebody beyond our technology and know-how did it
Mhm.
themselves.
Under 2 years, they said that they built this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Chad?
Chadwick.
You can jump on too if you guys want. I'm
Oh God, no!
saying.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, man, that stuff. I definitely want to do an episode on that. Um, I haven't studied enough of it yet to go into it. I'm hearing different people, and it just keeps coming up. It keeps coming up because I'll get away from it for a little bit, and then other people start talking about because it's sparking their interest. People from different, like a little bit. Some of the flat earth people don't get into it, but other people that break down the Christianity, how Christianity came to be, and how the Buddhists have ties into it, uh, and Hindus. You know, what I'm saying, like all this different stuff that they meshed into the Christian religion. You know, stuff that they had. So they're starting to get into it. But yeah, it's just something that just came across again in my feed, and so I'm looking to get into just do a video on that.
I don't remember where in the world I even seen that video of the Chicago World's
Uh,
Fair and how all that stuff was built, but they relate it to the pyramids. You know how they were done. I believe, if I remember correctly, they did. But it's been a while ago since I watched it, and I didn't take any notes, so I'm guessing. But I believe they related it to the pyramids and how whether it was related to the pyramids or not, or whether they related to the pyramids or not. My question is how did men like us build those pyramids? That's just incredibly hard for me to believe. I mean, can you imagine starting off the bottom? Yeah, I can kind of see it. But
mhm.
as you go way on up and you get to that point up there, how are they going to get that last stone up there on that pyramid? I mean, that just boggles my mind. Well, that had to have a ramp that was 1,000 miles long.
The thing about these pyramids too is that the locations that they're finding are like the famous one, of course, Egypt and Mexico. You know, the ones out
Mhm.
there, but you find them also in the islands of Tonga. You know, right next to Samoa.
Really?
Samoa also has a pyramid. So the weird thing about the pyramid in Samoa is it doesn't look like it's like a pyramid that was cut in half, or they didn't finish, and it's
Really?
completely grown over. The plants have grown over it. You know, it's out in the
Mhm.
jungle, so it's like a giant half pyramid uh bush. You know what I mean? The green covers it all, but people discovered it just by traveling, and someone's I don't know if they have a story behind it or at all, but people don't go there. But explorers have gone there, cut down all the grass and cut down all the hedges and stuff to explore this thing, and took many artifacts with them and left it alone. Then another team came in recently, looked it over, and took stuff also, left it alone. And then this woman went there, uh, some white lady. She went over there in 2012, did her own research. I think it was just her and her husband, and she wrote a book on it. The pyramids of Samoa. And so what she found is there's a city built around the pyramid, and all of it was burnt and then overgrown by plants. You
Oh,
got to go
really?
down. Yeah, you got to go down and start cutting off these vines and everything, and you get down to it, sort of like a whole, Indiana Jones kind of deal. Like there's a
Yeah.
hidden temple out there in the middle of the jungle, and we have no story behind it. Nobody talks about it.
Have you
Like
ever been out there yourself to see it? Or
I haven't been out there, but I'd love to do something like that. I don't know what the trek is gonna be like because apparently it's not even near any of the villages. Like there's one village that's kind of close, and then you have to go down there and ask around. You got to go through the marketplace, ask around, like, hey, do you know about this pyramid? And then there'll be a few older people that would know where it's at and tell you which way to head. And when you get out there, you it's kind of like it's so overgrown. You gotta be like really looking for it in order to find it. It's not gonna be very clear to you that there's like, oh, there's stone buildings right there. It's all overrun. You know,
hmm
but I thought it was cool that there was people living there. I think we can cross off horses as we
No
know how
kidding.
they. Yeah, I don't know what they use, right? They ate the damn horses.
Yeah, they were hungry.
Yeah. So the thing about the pyramid in Tonga, uh, it's in. So the king, they're the last island to have a kingdom, right? And not the king that's alive today, but his father. His father had property that no one was allowed to go see, and you can only see it on video during this one tourist kind of video that they filmed to have people come to the island and stuff. And this guy was walking through that garden, and there it is. There's one of these Aztec looking pyramids in the middle of a Polynesian jungle, and the
Yeah.
king doesn't let anybody go to it, doesn't let anybody touch it, except for this one footage that we have of this tourist video, that was filmed. And right next to the pyramid, we have this pie chart, kind of what do you call it? The pie sign, kind of the Stonehenge.
Yeah.
We have
The two things of the
we have a
Yeah.
structure that right next to the pyramid. Right,
Mhm.
so you got a little bit of a pyramid, a little bit of the Stonehenge right there, and the king doesn't allow anybody to go over there and do some research and find out who set this thing up and who built it, how they got all the stones there. But the stones are not of the island. That's the
That
thing.
seems very, very questionable to say the least, don't it?
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
What do you
I,
think? Do you think all of our leaders, or like the king and not necessarily not necessarily Brandon, of course, but I mean, the higher ups know how these things were done? I mean, why else would he want to hide it?
right? Unless you go on. So if you go further into the stories of Tartaria, these buildings and structures had a function. Some of them were sort of batteries and
Yeah.
power sources.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you see back in the day in these Tartaria photos, these buildings were all lit up before electricity. Before we had the telephone poles to wire electricity out there. These things were already lit up.
Absolutely. Certainly
So
were. Have
yeah,
you seen any of that? I just got to mention this, Ben, as it was brought up. Ben, as you brought it up, have you seen any of the new uh, Tesla generators that have been built around the country yet?
the new towers.
Yeah, the new Tesla free energy things.
No, I've heard of they're going into solar power and the new batteries that they're installing to houses, but no.
Well, there's one. I seen one here in Texas, and the guy, I'll tell you where to look this up at if you want to see it. It's he's a truck driver, and his name is Sasnak. It's Kansas spelled backwards, and that's the name he goes by on YouTube. And he's got a video of this Tesla tower just south of Dallas. I believe it's in Venus, Texas, which is just south of Dallas. But this thing, what they do is they generate power somehow from the earth and from the air. Static electricity, however they do it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but they generate. But they pick the stuff up, and there's another antenna-like thing over here, and it sends that antenna, and that antenna will send it on out to people's homes and businesses through the air. You don't need highline wires or anything.
Yeah,
Don't need anything like that. It's amazing. Take a look at that and see what you think.
that's the theory that they had of how they did it back in the day. They were able to capture electricity right out of the air in our atmosphere. It's just they've erased that teaching. Much like they do other things. People need to know that a lot of history is altered and erased.
It certainly is. That's the big thing with Tesla. I mean, his whole a lot of his things were erased. Like J.P. Morgan, wouldn't let him build he had the tower built and everything to produce free energy, but he would not let him hook it up because there was no way to put a meter on it. That's what Morgan told him. No, tear it down. There's no way to put a meter on it.
That's
And so he cut financing off.
They got to get their money, So Mr. almost killed my. Speaking of Tonga and erasing history, There was a guy who recently, a Samoan gentleman who he's New Zealand. Polynesians in New Zealand are quite a little different than the ones in America, and he was speaking about history in the Polynesian islands, and he was talking about the way Tongans sing. 'Cause we're really into, we're big into music and everything, and the way that they sing is, he goes, if you notice, the older folks will sing a certain kind of tone, and it's kind of this level tone. It's a little different than what you normally hear today. And people are like, yeah, I hear that. And he was saying that's the way Tongans used to always sing, but that was erased when the Western world came in and heard these people singing. They said, oh, these guys are tone deaf, and completely erased their own
Mm-hmm.
way of singing. And now they sing like we do, which I'm not a music expert. I can tell you about different, ranges and all that is. Well, but the point is that just the way of their doing things completely gone.
Well, there's a certain chord nowadays, or whatever it's called. I think it's chord that they will not let anyone cut a record in because it's kind of like you said, it's been erased. They don't want people to listen to it because it's too godly, too holy, too soothing to the soul.
Yeah.
And so they just will not let anybody cut a record or anything in that music.
Yeah. So there was a change back in the day, where music used to be transmitted in a certain frequency, and they
Exactly.
changed that. You know,
Exactly.
they
Exactly.
changed it to where now all music has to go by this other frequency, and it does something to you. You know what I'm saying? Music and frequencies, those are very are very important, very powerful. You
Mm-hmm.
know, music is we've heard people say music is healing, it's universal. That was true. You know what I'm saying? They could say, I've heard people say, oh, it was a buddy of mine, Eager TV was telling, there's a study that when you play certain music to plants, they respond to this kind of stuff. And so that's part of the whole cap on our knowledge and cap on our capabilities by playing music in a certain frequency. It pisses people off. That's why I tried my best to keep my children away from that the mainstream stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They'll get a little bit of exposure, but again, that's another reason why I break down. Or starting to break down the Disney stuff because people watch this stuff and then they follow a certain narrative. It's quite fitting, you know what I'm saying? Like they listen to this music and then they go with these narratives. They believe this kind, you know what I'm saying? They just spoon fed information and they eat it right up, no questions asked. You know,
Movies and music are two of the biggest ways on earth to move people's minds, souls, you name it. That's what they do.
absolutely, absolutely. Which is again why we got to our topic today. Let's see. Only heard music from Tonga is kind of like Samoan music. Uh, the bass tones are really pronounced in that in their singing. See really about the frequency. But yeah, that's something you got to really look into that stuff. I've heard this. Yes, Disney knows. Yep, Disney knows exactly what they're doing. You
They
know,
all do. They all do.
so I was looking into the rituals and how you. Not that I'm trying to teach people how to conjure up these jinns, but when you look at the way that these things are conjured up, it's a lot like how we see things happening today as as we're covering mainstream media, Hollywood, and music. The first one, they all have different names on how they're conjured, but it's pretty much the person that calls upon a jinn. He's considered the magician, right? In their language, not what we consider magician. Well, it could be. No, it couldn't be. It's the person that calls upon a jinn to perform something for them, right? And so the way that the magician would do it, the first one is called Alexam, and oh, also I don't know if you know about the words that we hear in magic from movies, right? I don't like saying them, but just real quick, like we see it all the time. Open sesame,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alakazam,
Hmm.
abracadabra. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That shit is like weird, like real spells that our kids are saying that we've been taught as children, and yet we have no idea what we're saying. You
I
know what I'm
said it
saying?
all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like I'm gonna make you disappear, stuff like that. But it was a teaching of a pastor named who was a he used to be a satanic priest. Like he used to be underground, John Ramirez. He used to be like a huge what was the name? He was a warlock, right?
I
So
think I've
he
watched him before. I think.
wow, man, this guy he came to my friend's church out here, San Bernardino, and he spoke and he teaches some pretty crazy stuff, man. And he kind of woke me up to paying more attention to the Hollywood stuff because he was like, you need to know when hexes are being pronounced, and he said if you're hearing music and you don't know what it is, you don't know, like if it's in like we'll hear songs on the radio and they'll go into like a Latin verse, or they'll say something in Spanish, or we'll hear Aramaic or whatever. He says if you don't know what they're saying, he goes, cut that stuff off. Yeah, like they're putting curses on you, you have no idea. He goes, what was this name of the show? I Love Lucy. All right. I mean, I remember watching the show, and it was always fun to watch Ricky perform at his club, right? But
Yeah,
like when he come out, he was sing like Babalu and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
He was like, you have no idea, these are Cuban hexes that he's putting on people,
Really,
and we're just eating it up. You know what I'm saying? We're just
I
sitting
didn't
there
know
like,
that either.
exactly, right? And so that's again, right? He was like, you gotta be aware, you gotta be careful. It's a catch-22. I love some of it, and it holds a special. Yeah, absolutely. This is why we're covering, because I grew up on that stuff, man, and we let our kids watch this stuff, and we
Oh,
just got to be
Indy,
be aware of what they're pushing at. What's up, Andy? Hey, watch, man. Can you find another video? Leave you this and find out. Oh, nice.
did you know that? Did you know that pharmakia? Of course, that's a Greek word, but
Mhm.
it translates to like your pharmacist. But it means wizard. It means magician.
Mm.
It's the same thing for a doctor. Doctor's the same thing.
Yeah. Oh,
So they're
yeah.
all magicians.
Yeah. So he's like the Hippocratic oath, right? That goes into the Greek. They call on the healing powers of Apollo,
Yeah.
which then goes into the whole heliocentric theories and sun worship, which is riddled into our religions today. I grew up a Christian, and it's hard for me now. I go to church, I'm like, damn, there's some stuff that we do here. I'm just like, why do more people not realize we're doing communion, but that was part of the black communion that was sacrificing of children's blood, but we've integrated it, right? Because and other
Hmm.
among other things, and that part upsets me. So when I go, man, I'm always like praying for just a clean heart, that I'm just there to worship. I'm not trying to partake in any kind of paganism and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it's amazing how this stuff is. You don't even know when you call a
Mhm.
doctor that you're saying a magician. Would you find out what's wrong with me or whatever, and then you go to the drugstore and say, Mr. Drug Maker, would you, or well, you'd actually call him Mr. Magician. That's what you're saying, but you're saying it in Greek, so you don't know that you're saying it. It's just,
Yeah. And that's one of the teachings of the giants that we got. The breaking of the herbs. We weren't supposed to depend on that kind of stuff, on medicine. Which fast forward to now, it sucks because I know there's some, like, I hate pharmacia medication and how some people are so dependent on it. But yet I have conditions too where my body just builds up lactic acid to where I'm like Mr. Glass from the movie Unbreakable. You
mhm.
know, I'm big and strong, but then whenever my uric levels want to act up, I'm super fragile. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's why I can't do the kind of work that I used to do as a bodyguard anymore, because I have no control over it. It's just one day, boom, I'm not able to walk. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how it's been. And I believe that came from the tampering of our air, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that they're spraying in, because that causes high inflammation. That, and they can say it's genetics, but I think we're all just being tampered with now, man. Our
Oh,
air is
there's no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
yeah, our
No
air is
doubt about it.
unclean. Our food's unclean. You know what I'm saying? So we're just
It's
we're far beyond the line here.
yeah, it's worse than unclean. It's poisoned air, water, food. It don't make any difference. I mean,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
it's, it would make sense if I wanted to take over people. Yeah, I'd weaken them all with inflammation. They couldn't do shit. They
mhm,
couldn't fight for themselves.
yeah,
Yeah.
mhm,
Then take their guns away. Now they're really, what I'm saying, defenseless.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, it's crazy the stuff that they do here when they call so in order the first way to call onto these jinns, you have to go into a dark room and call onto the what they call the chief jinn or shaitan, which is if it's right there,
oh,
Satan.
yeah,
You have to wear filthy clothes and let your body get into an impure state, light a fire, and then you pretty much give praise to the chief jinn. And then he comes into an agreement with you and says, "What do you want?" And you could tell him what you want. And they said you have a choice here to help people, or you can put up your own wishes, whatever you need, and that's when they'll
mhm,
assign jinns to you. You know what I'm saying? And so this is just like what they do in the Hollywood realm. If you study that and how Hollywood types have this, well, we can call it MK Ultra, but these guys are just influenced by demonic structures, right? Demonic figures, right? And then the second thing you have to do is sacrifice black animals. They prefer black crows, black sheep, pigeon, owl, and any animal that is black. Hide the carcass where people don't normally pass, and that is where jinns hang out. So there are places where people might feel these entities, these spirits, right? And it's like going to stories like abandoned places, and you'll feel it there. And that's where we get the stories of the black cat. So that all comes from
mhm,
from the jinn. Uh, the other ritual is you put the Quran on your foot and walk backwards into your restroom, and then enter your room, and jinns will show up. That's kind of a weird one. Uh, you write the Quran backwards in dirty fluids, and that attracts all the jinn to come to you, and they'll ask you what you want. You tell them what you need, and of course, these come with payment, whether it's your blood or soul. And we've heard from the Bible, right? Gain the world and lose your soul.
mhm.
Um, let's see, writing the Quran backwards pleases the jinn. Ritual 6, they believe in certain stars. And so one thing I do agree with here in the Muslim teaching is because these jinn believe that you have to wait for certain stars to pass by, and that's when it's closest is when uh, they are the strongest, and you start to chant and summon the jinn. You worship the star, and they come out. And uh, the Muslim belief is that Allah created the star to beautify the sky and for navigation. But the Muslims teach that if anybody studies these stars, meaning astrology, then you have now learned a branch of magic. Right. So that I've never known about the Muslim teachings.
Well, me either. Well, if that's the case, then I wonder how they go. Well, I don't know if Arabs, if they actually plant crops or not. That's one of the things that the stars are used for, is to plant crops, and to tell when winter or the seasons, are
seasons.
coming
Yep.
about. So that's something I don't get about their teachings.
So they teach that they are only for beautifying the skies and for navigation. So I guess that would fall under uh navigating. Not that they're traveling, but that they know the seasons. But they're saying like to study any further than what they already normally used for, then now you're going into astrology, and that is what they teach as magic. So I'm surprised they even I never knew they even went there, because I know they there's something about the moon in their religion.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely hold the moon in high regard, and
Yeah,
I
and
think
that
they even worship.
quarter
Yeah,
moon in particular.
yeah, the crescent, right?
Yeah,
And
which to
so
me that comes right out and says, well, we are worshiping the god of darkness, because when you got a moon on your flag in stars or whatever, then that's showing that it's got to be night. With the way their flags are made anyway, it's got to be dark. And to me, God is anything but dark.
Yeah. Let's see what they're saying here. Some more, how many cultures have Jinn as a part of there's a few. Even the Asians have I don't know Chinese writing, but somebody explained that it's the same thing as a Jinn, same type story, and it's also pronounced Jinn in their language. What was the other? It was not even an Asian, it was like a European. Um, the Romanian, they call it also Jinn. That's actually just what I'm about to get into right now. Um, so the Jinn are not always for cursing. They're called upon for finding lost objects. You use them to go and seek it for you. You can also use them to bless people. Let's see, the last ritual is the magician will ask a person for a sweaty garment, ties a knot, and pretty much they're working as a medium. They recite something, some Quran loudly, and then quietly, and then loud again, and then jerks the knot. And then if the knot is tightened, then you are jinn infected. If it's loosened, then you have the evil eye. I've heard the evil eye a few times.
Yeah.
And this is from sunsigns.org. I believe it's a Muslim site, but yeah, the word genie, in our language, in English, is genie, but it's also from the Aramaic word janaya, Romanian jinn with a D, and the Aramaic jinn, Jinn, and in the Chinese, which I saw the lines, you know what I'm saying? But they're known as a deity, not always evil. They grant 3 wishes, like you see in the movie Aladdin, and they are nature spirits, which we see in Wicca. And these witches can backfire. Okay, so here's the thing: people seek them to get these wishes, like in the movie. But the thing is, it's up to the genie or jinn. So they're a jinn, and then once they're freed, they become a genie. We got it backwards. You know what I'm saying? We think it's like a genie in a bottle. So they're a jinn, and then when they're freed, they become a genie. And there's two different types. One is less powerful than the other. The genie is less powerful than the jinn. They also did you guys hear that?
What's that?
Did you guys hear a boom right now?
Uh-uh.
That's another one. Okay. I covered that in another video. We talked about the underground stuff. And I'm telling you, I live on a hill where they're like mining it out right below us right now. I can't explain these things. They happen every night.
They're mining it out.
There's huge explosions that go on every night here. Every night in the city where I live in. And I go on the Facebook pages and I'm like, you guys hear that? And there's always one person that says it's just fireworks. It's going on right now again.
I wish I could hear it.
But it's like shaking the ground. This is like stupid every single night. And I know I live with China.
Do you think they're really mining, or what do you think is truly going on?
I know that there are roads that go into how to explain the side of the hill that you're not allowed. It's all gated up, and we see trucks go in there. You know what I'm saying? I need to go get some footage. But yeah,
you may have a dumb underneath you there.
That's what I'm saying. And if you look it up on Google Maps, around because it's like we're not rich or anything. We're like toward the bottom, middle of the hill, but toward the top, there's like Hollywood types and stuff like. There's a country club up there. But if you look it up on Google Maps, it's that area where I saw that hole where the road goes into. It's named Gates of Hell. Somebody named it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if it's a dumb, that's exactly what the hell it is. I mean, seriously,
it's freaking weird, man. I don't know why we landed right here next to this thing, man. And I covered some stories on this on a previous video. They shut down this whole area. There's freeways around, but to go over the hill to get to Orange County, Whittier, Anaheim, California, it's all over the hill, right? We just go up a little bit, couple miles from my house, and you're at the top of the hill and go down into Orange County. There's freeways that go around, but that'll take you an hour. Going over the hill take you 15, 20 minutes. They shut down this entire hill a couple years ago, right before the whole lockdown. They shut down all the streets that go over the hill, so you couldn't drive up there. And that's the only area, one of the few areas in LA County where we have like woods, you know what I'm saying? Like a little bit of woods in the middle of the city, untouched place, because all the mansions and stuff are up there. And they had a girl that was, they found a body on one of the nature trails up here, and so they shut down the entire hill for a year and a half. Nobody could drive up there unless you live up there and show proof that you live up there.
For a year and a half.
For a year and a half, for one girl that was found inside of a suitcase on a nature trail. And this is in the middle of a, we're so city here, you know what I'm saying? Like the family that did it, it was supposedly the girl's mom had a boyfriend in and out of prison, and the boyfriend didn't like the daughter, so they killed her and got rid of her, left her here in our nature trail. But they're from freaking San Bernardino, which is an hour and a half away, and they're like up in the high desert. They would have no trouble hiding a body up there in the high desert. They drove all the way over here and dumped her in our nature trail, which is like people running there every day. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
something about this, come to think of it.
And so they shut, after that, they shut down the whole freaking area for a year and a half, and you had to drive an hour to get around this hill. I was like, that was kind of weird.
Well, how close are you to the San Andreas Fault or any of the faults?
The San Andreas, I could see it. I could see let's see. I would say half an hour from here.
Okay.
Wait, the river? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the earthquake fault line.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, there's many of them out there, but the reason I asked is because, and I've looked at this for a long, long time. What they do is, at least supposedly, I've never been down there. I couldn't say for a fact, but that they supposedly take all these domes underneath those earthquake fault lines. That's where they build them at. And so that's what's been causing the earthquakes all along. I don't know, but I've heard that, but well before this, these last 6 years. And so those booms that you keep hearing can't be one of two things. It's got to be either they're making some kind of mine under there. If they're making a mine, why wouldn't they tell y'all, we're digging a mine for gold or whatever?
I wish they would.
No, yeah, they ought to make it some kind of lie.
I would accept it, instead of sitting here like, okay, what's going on? And again, we got plants and we got people that are lower ranked individuals in the boys club. You know what I'm saying? So every time I go on to one of our community tabs or our Facebook tabs, I'm like, hey, there's always someone there like, did you guys hear this? Did you guys hear this? And there's always somebody who claims, oh, it's my neighbor. These kids, man, they keep popping fireworks every night. I'm like, we don't miss one night though. Every single day of the year.
Does it do it in the daytime too?
It's sometimes in the day. Sometimes in the day. And it's always random times. So I wish I could sit here and track the times, but it's so sporadic. I really just have to leave a recorder out at night and just try to listen through it and capture it. Yeah, but it is like, I know fireworks, you know what I'm saying? These aren't fireworks, man. Some of them are way too big.
Well, you could tell it anyway, because fireworks, they come from up there. If it's a blast under the ground, it's coming from down there, and you can feel it with your feet,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even on a concrete slab.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's that, and we do have our police department here. I've only lived here in this city for I'd say 3 years. Originally from Long Beach, which is about 30 miles away. But I'm at the very edge of LA County where it meets Orange County, and I've never seen helicopters be used like this so much. And I live right there, next to Seal Beach base. I've never seen this kind of activity. This is just it's unbelievable. So yeah, I don't know. My antennas are up. And
well, you know what? Just one final thing on that. I did watch a special forces guy about a month ago, and he said, pay close attention. You're going to be hearing a lot of things going on in California here pretty soon. They never tell you when, you know. And of course, he didn't hold an ID up there, you know, to show who he was or what branch he was in or anything. He said, just pay close attention to California. You're going to be hearing a lot of things here before long. So what he meant by that, I don't know. Could have been what you're talking about. Could have been something else, but I just thought I'd let you know just in case.
Could be. Some Forge said they're storing toxic waste underground. There is on the edge of this I don't know what it's not a mountain range, but it's a bunch of hills. At the very edge, there's a landfill there, but that's like nowhere near. I can see it from outside my room, but you know, there's a bunch of stuff around this area. Yeah, this is Whittier, you know, in the Whittier Hills. And so there are lodges around here. I don't know if they have anything to do with it, you know, but yeah, it's weird stuff, man.
I know you here the last time I was watching you one night, and you mentioned a boom going on. I thought, doggone, man, and he's in California. First thing that popped in my mind was about those dums. I ain't kidding. The very first thing.
Have you heard of this? They call them the sky booms, but it's more like it sounds like a train from the sky.
Yeah. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I captured one at 2:30 in the morning, and that video did pretty well. Actually, I got featured on what's the name of that? The James Show. He does like all weird kind of footage people put up on YouTube, and he featured my video on there because it was like 2:17 in the morning, and I just laid down, and I was like, what the hell? Because we do have a train that comes by, but you know,
what's the name of the James Show?
The James Show. Yeah, and he has 2 channels. The other one is oh man, it's one of unbelievable something. Unbelievable footage. I forgot what it's called, but his newer channel is called the James. He's Portuguese. His first name is James, but the dude has some crazy stuff. Shadow figures, ghosts, and stuff. Things that people catch, weird animals that run across the road, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he got my video on it because this thing went on for about 9 minutes straight. This sky boom, and I heard it from. Well, actually, no, I got 9 minutes of it on footage. I woke up at about 2:17. It was going on. I was laying there like, okay, this sounds like a train, but it's getting louder and louder, like the train was coming here, and that's not how it's supposed to sound. So I went outside and got this thing on video, and you could hear like it's like a mechanical noise up in the air, like a train just flying overhead us. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it was weird stuff. Now these things, skyquakes, yes. Chad, we got it.
How long ago was this?
This was last year. Yeah, but I've been seeing these like videos of it since 2014. Like in Europe, it happens a lot, and people will go outside with their camera and they'll look outside the window and just look over the city. And it was like a machine was going on in the air, and then it sounded like a trumpet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what I've heard many of there. There was one here just about 8 years ago, I guess. Just in this area. I mean, you could hear it.
Yeah, man. I don't know where Longwood is, Chadwick. I don't think I heard of Longwood. But yeah, that thing. It was a couple of my friends and that would capture that thing in the middle of the night, and they say it's like the firmament squeak. What was the guy's explanation? The scroll. He was referring to the scrolls opening up and stuff like that, but I don't think he was right on that. I don't know what it is. You know, but it's
when you could have, now this goes back to some of the flat earth theory stuff, of course, but I don't know if it's even a flat earth theory thing or not, because to me, and I definitely believe in the Bible, and that's where I get the firmament things from, and the way that I take it is that there is something enclosing us, whether, and maybe it is just air, I don't know. But let's just assume for a minute that there is something up there, whether it be water that's up there, or whether it be some kind of a barrier that we know anything about. And maybe they're blasting something up there trying to break through, and that's what it is. Then again, maybe they harp. maybe that's what it is. I've heard a lot of stories about HARP that can do the same thing. Whether that's what it is, I don't know. Something's going on.
There is absolutely. I wanna post this. Did I tell you about the old veteran I met? And he like had knowledge of. He says he's the guy who created it. Harp.
Oh, really? No, you didn't tell me about that.
It was the weirdest thing how I found this guy, man. He watches my channel every now and then. I'll see a comment from him, older gentleman, and I'm not gonna. I can't drop my phone call with him on YouTube. I want to ask him first, but without giving away his identity and everything, I was looking for a dresser for my children, and I'm like, I'm not trying to spend a lot of money, so I was like, I'm going to offer up, and I found one, right? So dude offers me something for $40. I say, yeah, I need that. I go down there near what was the city? It was close by here. It's one of those richer. It's like a rich city too. Glendale or Glendora, one of the two. And I go down there, uh, and huge, like lots of signs around there, like a Masonic Hall down the street from this house.
Mm.
The Star of Renfram being on people's front lawns. They had their
The star of who?
the Star of Renfram.
Now, I don't know that one.
It's the one that we know as the Star of David.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's symbology with that star too, right? So they got that in front of their house. Anyway, I get there, so he gives me the address on offer. They have like a little messaging, right? A little text message sort of deal, and he texts me his address. I get down there with GPS, and it takes me to his house, and I knock on the door. Nobody answers. I'm there for a little while, knocking, and then I'm messaging the person like, "Hey, I'm here at your house." And they're like, "I don't see anybody." I'm like, "This is the address you gave me, right? I'm right here at your house." He was like, "I don't see anybody. I'm in the front." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And so I tell him, I text him, I say, "Here, call me. This is my number." And he calls me and he goes, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm at the address you gave me." And so I pull it up on my map, and I manually navigate that there's another house with the same address 2 blocks away.
No shit.
Yeah, so I had to like find my way there, and then I show up to the guy, and he was upset, and he was like, "I was trying to leave," and I'm like, "Dude, this is the address you gave me. This is where GPS took me." Anyway, that house, before I leave, I guess there was an older couple that lives there, right? Old veteran from the Navy, and oh my gosh, this stuff.
Another boom.
Yeah, it's like shaking my walls, and so he can barely walk, right? And so he heard me knocking. He was making his way to the front door the whole time. And when he gets there, he comes out, and I could tell he's a patriot. He's got the American flag on. He wants to talk. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Like, dude, I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? He came out, he made his way there, and I could tell it was hard for him to do it. So I ended up talking with him for about half an hour. And we get to talking, and he's a big Trump guy, and he starts talking politics and military, and I was like, oh, cool. I told him it's because his house was kind of wrecked, stuff was falling over, and they just I don't know. Anyway, it was all beat up.
Kind of like mine.
I don't know, man. Telling on yourself, man.
What can I say?
Yeah. Well, he was a cool guy, and I'm just like, man, I told him, I said, look, here's my number. If you need help moving stuff around, give me a call. I'll come by with my truck, whatever you need. I feel bad for the dude. I was just like, it's like whenever you need it, man, hit me up. And he goes, oh yeah, for sure. And then he goes, you ever heard of a project this and that? And I was like, I stopped. I was like, what is that? He starts telling me about stuff, and he starts, he's an older dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he's like, F it, like whatever. They come after me. He tells me, I got to tell you right now, my house is being monitored, and I'm being monitored, and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, should you continue talking right now, or should I leave? I don't want to be followed out of here. You know what I'm saying? But he starts spilling the beans. Just like, I'm known in the military as the Warhammer. He goes, have you ever heard of the Warhammer in the Bible? I go, no, I haven't. And he said that he's a weapon made for war, that he has a gift of creating weapons. And I was like, okay, like he starts telling me that he goes, you ever heard of harp? I go, yeah. He goes, that was me. I was like, what the hell? Like, are you serious? I'm like, this could be just some old man just having conversation and making, having some fun here. But he starts going into some details and stuff. And, I couldn't let it like keep going. He just wanted to talk and he said he could barely stand. So I like, look, uh, give me a call. We could talk some more. I want to talk to you about this a lot more. And I had a couple calls with him and, uh, he finally, I recorded it, told him, look, I want to record some of this stuff. He starts talking about all kinds of crazy weaponry, DEWs and stuff like that, and how he was part of the design and a lot of these projects. And I'm interested at the same time. I'm kind of scared. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be knowing about this stuff. But the one time he gave me a call and he says, can you come down here and help me move some stuff? I had to let him know. I said, man, I feel I was ready to go. I had my truck ready and everything. And I was like, I feel like it's kind of a bad time. And he was just he kind of like he gave me some signs that he understood. You know what I'm saying? Like he was because he told me like straight up they're watching his house. And
Mm-hmm.
he told me a few times, like when you come over here, uh, I'm being monitored. Like that, he just kept saying it. So I was like, I don't feel safe, man. Especially nobody knows the address where I'm going to. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of signs. Anyway, make a long story
Did he
short,
ever tell you what he did on harp or dedues?
uh, he just said he was on for DWs. He said he was on the team that created it. Uh, the other weapons that was all him. Uh, he claims that uh, the fires that were right here, they were right by his house. They're just not too far from me.
Okay.
When I one of the fires that we after the Paradise fires, we had a series of fires down south, and they're you could see them right from my house. I could see it right when I step out my door. That's right by his house. He says those are DWs. He claims 9/11 was DWs. They were not bombs. I didn't even ask him. He just started blurting out that stuff. And he says that was all that. He's talked about some uh, disintegration stuff, smart bombs that we've heard of. He goes into that, and he says he's still designing things, and that they still require it of him. And yeah, I don't know. It's
Hmm.
just little things like that.
That's some weird shit, man. I wouldn't have wanted to go over there either. If I'd been
Yeah,
you.
what I'm saying, like it was like they were trying to like coax me, entice me to go on down there. And I'm like, oh, tell me more, and then I disappear. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Hell yeah.
My guard was really up. You know what I'm saying? So
Have you seen this? There's a video on YouTube that's and I can't remember the guy's name, but he worked for the pen. This is in the '80s, and he worked for the Pentagon, and he was retired. Well, he might have still been a colonel in the army. I don't remember now, but he was at this time he was explaining what Russia had, and these were tectonic weapons, where they could literally take these things and somehow they triangulate them. He explained it all in detail in that video.
mm,
I mean, I can't tell you how he did it, but these things wherever they cross them at, they can take out a tank, they can take out 1,000 jets. However many you're flying up there, they can take them. They can. He said they could literally sink entire continents. Now that's what he
wow,
said Russia had in the '80s. He didn't say
wow,
what we had. Now there's no way that I know of to check that, but he had diagrams, everything there. And I wish to God I knew the name of that video because I just stumbled across it that day and I thought, man, how in the world did I miss this back then? Of course, I was working back then, so he might have been talking about it while I was at work. I don't know. And I just, because it was on the news, and that's where the video came from.
wow. I I I tell you one weapon he described a few, but the one that I recall was like his specialty was he said the scenario would be like a field or a beach or whatever. You got 500 versus 500 soldiers on the beach. They fire one missile and that thing splits up and targets everybody. He goes, it's not just going to be the enemy; it's every person. Headshot. Every person gets a headshot.
Really? So they kill their own guys too? Is that what you're saying?
It's
Why
just to
would they want?
wipe everybody off the field. I don't know why they have that, but he said they designed that, and he was part of that.
Now that's what I call a wicked weapon.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would you want to kill your own guys? That don't make any
I have
any
no
sense
idea.
at all.
I have no idea why they would do that. Again, I'm receiving it, and I'm like, okay, he's either telling the truth, and he's like done giving a shit because he's old, and or he's just got a crazy imagination.
One of them, maybe
Yeah.
both. Who knows? But as far as the dues go, and those things, I don't know how many videos I saw on YouTube back when these fires were going on. Not just the this was golly, it's been several years ago, and people were out in their yards, putting out these fires, and across, the road from whatever, putting out these fires, trying to save their houses. And they would get this one fire just about put out, and a blue beam would come down over just a little ways from and start another fire. And so they'd go over and start putting that one out, and it would come down over there and start another fire. What that was other than dues, I don't know. But we
got trolls.
Undoubtedly. Well, you know how to take them out, don't you?
They might not exist, but then again, that's the whole point. They don't want us to think any of this shit exists. Just keep it all under wraps and whatever. What your buddy's here at Forge, Charles Lee Baker. They're following me from this other channel. That they like, they like to mess with these older ladies they do their StreamYard. They go live and talk about stuff. But thank you, appreciate that. I was just laughing that they made their way over here. That's funny. Okay, what is this?
Well, those dues certainly exist. I know that. I mean, there's pictures of them on battleships, on tanks. On many things. I would imagine they've even got them where they can, put them in the battlefield and where the soldiers themselves can activate them.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. There's a lot of bases around here, and I'll sit there and try to piece together this stuff, like why we hear all these noises, and like they're still just going on a little while ago, man. I don't know if it was probably not. Oh, because this mic is supposed to be like a sound cancellation kind of deal. I switched to this one from my other one up here. It's the one like Chadwick's. But yeah, these guys are still good.
Man.
Let me get these guys out.
Well, that's some shit they put up there, I'll tell you right
now. Yeah, I don't mind. They don't bother me too much. Let's see.
If they don't bother you, they don't bother me.
Yeah. I mean, they want to come spend time over here, they're more than welcome to run up the watch hours. It's all good. We got to get that up.
And hit the like button.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a nasty one there now. Which reminds me, I want to go ahead and hit the like button right now before I might have already hit it. I don't remember, but let me do it just in case I didn't. And I don't know why I can hardly ever remember to do that. On anybody, even on my own show, I don't remember to do it.
I gotta start making people mods. I forget to do that. Let me see here.
Yeah, you need to, and you won't have to worry about that stuff. They can take care of it for you.
Put you guys to work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but finishing up the notes I have. So pretty much these guys are all tied to the black magic, which pretty much to sum up with all the notes that I got, everything. Black magic is all there, and the Muslims are admitting that these jinn are not like how they're portraying them in Disney, that they could be good or bad, but they are all bad. They were not to be messing around with this stuff. And the black magic stuff, man, that stuff is crazy. I don't know. I dropped a video of the one of the Australian town halls, town hall meetings. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And she starts to explain. Pretty much, she was part of city council or whatever, and she revisits this thing and she revisits the town hall, and she's being interviewed. She starts to explain the uh, the Masons and the stuff that they do at night, like meetings they do at night, and the stuff she talks about, man. Like we've heard about it, but the details she goes into, as far as blood sacrifices, rituals, and things that they do, and I can't believe it was allowed to be on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? With the details she goes into as far as children and things that people were eating. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's all the dark magic. It's all black magic. This is what we're talking about. And when these jinns are being portrayed to us, this is pretty much what they're trying to normalize for our children right here. So I didn't know Solomon was involved in this stuff. King Solomon. Do you know that he
You
got
know,
involved?
I'd heard about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to ask you if you heard of it. I didn't know that till today.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Solomon, well, that's supposedly how he built the temple, was with the use of demons. So it don't
Right.
surprise me. I mean, it just, it kind of follows suit that he would do all those kind of things too. But yeah, when you're reading the Bible, when you first read it, well, maybe the first dozen times, you take it that Solomon's a really good guy, but he wasn't. He might
Yeah.
have started off a good guy, but he didn't end up that way.
So he abused the wisdom that was given to him or ignored it, right? Because
Yes.
he was being enticed by all the women and all. He let them hold on to their teachings and their beliefs and religions, and the jinn found its way into his council, and so they started. He had a group of advisors, and the jinn were behind them. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
uh, he allowed that in. But yeah, I didn't realize that was their demise. And according to the Quran's teachings, is that Solomon ended up being dried out, and the jinns were the ones that found him dead first. They were just using him to have their way to push whatever narratives they were doing, they wanted, and they were the ones that found him dead. I found that to be quite interesting. Uh, I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but I see Forrest that you agree with Scott that Homeboy was probably out of his mind. It could be, but for a person who's in that mental state, I mean, he was quite convincing. I mean, of course, my guard is up. Like I said, it could be just imagination, but dude was mentioning some stuff and some projects. I couldn't. I wish I had a notepad and a recorder to record everything he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But I can't remember it all from that one conversation. So yeah, that's the Jinn. Now they also teach the Jinn in Korean, which say that everybody has a personalized Jinn that follows them and tries to keep you in your sinful ways. Uh, it's kind of helping you to abuse free will. And let's see. Pretty much in the end of this article, which is a Muslim teacher saying, "Don't let anybody tell you that jinn are not demons or that genies are not demons. They're all one and the same. The chief jinn is Shaitan or Satan himself, and that is what you're going to be seeing in the movies." All right. So my takeaway from Miss Marvel, things that I've noticed there, they mentioned well, first the characters Kamala and Kamala, and I just found that was funny that they would use that name for the character or push that character with that name. Aisha is her great grandmother, who's a famous jinn. camel feet, and she's also portrayed again as a good guy. But again, we're talking demons here. The gay agenda was pushed big time in these shows. Uh, a lot of these the safe space, the space balls, uh, astrology was pushed big time here. And when she finds out she's a Jinn, she realizes she's things that nightmares are made out of, and then their explanation was no, it's what you do in your life, which is again we're not saved based on works. Evil is evil. Evil spirits should not be touched and messed with here. And at the very last line, oh sorry, we got one spoiler for Hook That Yarn. At the very end, the last line, Kamala is proud of her Jinn daughter and says it's magical. And so again, all demonic teachings, all normalization of cheering for a Jinn or a demon, and that is pretty much it from the article. And so, what you should do is know that uh, number one, we're not here to fear any Jinn. That's not why I cover it. I don't cover demons to say that we ought to be scared. Actually, it's the opposite. There's a lot of people today that don't realize what they're up against, and that's why they're scared. There's a lot of Christians that are scared of these entities because they're not completely aware of these things. They don't realize how these things are not so powerful. Just because they have supernatural powers doesn't mean that they're bigger or stronger than we are. You know what I'm saying? That's it's just again, that's part of the deception. We also have, let's see. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry. These are a friend of a friend that made their way over here.
Friend of a friend, yeah.
Yeah. And let's see. And just like how they teach, they call on the name of Allah. We should know that there is power in the name of Jesus Christ, and that these demons have no power nor authority over us. Call upon the name of Jesus or Yeshua if you wish, or Yahusha, or Yah, or Yahweh, whatever you prefer. They know who God is, right? And so again, that's the main
Absolutely.
teachings. So when I know I can't stop everybody from watching Disney. I know I can't stop everybody from watching Marvel or the NFL, which is just as bad. They push same narratives. You know,
Absolutely.
these guys. I mean, I love football, but I had to like get away from it because I'm like, damn, I see these commercials, pushing the whole racial agenda, the homosexual agenda, and I was just like, okay, it's all one and the same. Entertainment's all there, but I can't stop people from watching. The people are already, immersed in that stuff. That's a lot of people. Their life is football. My culture, man, they're all, Samoans are all about football. Um, but if I can at least help people to wake up and realize what they're looking at, I believe that when you are aware, the enemy's got no power over people. You know what I'm saying? So you can watch freely and be aware. You know what I'm saying? Like now, my children, they know exactly when something comes up and I hear it. I'm like, shoot, what the hell are they watching or listening to? They look at me and they're like, sorry, Dad. Like they already know. You know what I mean? My children are onto it. They
Yep.
know when it's magic, when it's sorcery, that they're not
That's
supposed to be
good.
watching.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
I'm glad they're taking to it. I would say my oldest one is the most defiant one. I got one who's, she's got some bad influences from her cousins, but I just got to handle that. Like today, remember I told you I was about to punch a pastor, for being
Yeah.
so weird. So that
Yeah.
pastor, he left the very next week, and he was like, he's on to Ohio, and there's new people that are leading that church. It's not my church. We have our own church, but she likes to go to this youth church right next to us
Yeah.
because her friends go there, and they're doing something called Murder in the Dark. I don't know. It's like at 11:30 at night. I don't know if you ever heard of that. I
No.
don't know. Maybe some kind of game I don't know about. But my
Yeah.
daughter is like giving me hell right now because she's supposed to be over there right now playing this game. I'm like, so they texted all the parents. We're not having Bible study tonight, but we're gonna meet at 11:30 at night, and we're gonna do Murder in the Night. And I'm like,
Really?
what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? So as soon as that pastor left, these guys started bringing in some weird stuff into the church. And I'm like, no, you ain't going unless you want me to go with you, because I'll go with you and go see what's up. And she was like, no, I want to go by myself. I'm like, well, you ain't going, simple as that. And so she's giving me the stink eye right now. But it's 11:30 at night. Like, see how easily this stuff sneaks in. You know what I'm saying? We have to
How
be.
old is she, David?
She's 13.
13. Man, well, first of all, just for myself, I wouldn't want my daughter out at 11:30. I don't
Exactly.
think under any circumstances at 13 years old, I'm saying, and then some murder in the dark. I mean, man, I mean that's a little. But I'm an old fashioned guy, I mean, I was old fashioned back when I was younger, and I'm
Yeah.
really old fashioned now. So it's hard for me to say some things I want to say sometimes because I'm not trying to offend anyone. It's just the way when you're raised a certain way, that's the way you are, and you can't be anybody else but who you are.
Right. That's one of my struggles right now, because my oldest daughter, she's close to her cousins, and they keep in contact with their mo was it Roblox and stuff like that. They talk to each other through there. It's a game that they play online, they stream and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, like, just other parenting skills being used in other families that I don't care too much for. But I just let her figure it out. It's just I have to be the bad guy right now, which you should be if you're a parent. Damn it, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
that's one thing I realized today, that there's a lot of people that are too scared to to discipline, to straighten out people, to you know to be protective. Like, that's your damn job. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
What it is, I mean, a parent, you're not there to be a friend. Yeah, a friend at certain times, but a parent more than anything else. That's what we're all for. That's what's going wrong, in my opinion,
Mhm.
with the younger generation. I'm talking about from my kids back. They all want to be friends with their kids first and parents second. No, it's the other way around. In my opinion, you should be parents first and friends second.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always great to be friends with your kids. I mean, who wouldn't want to be? But that comes as they grow older,
Yeah.
and they understand what you were teaching them and why.
Right. That's one of the biggest questions to people address me with when it comes to the homeschooling. And I get all the looks from family and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
from people I talk to about about the homeschooling. And they're always concerned, like, well, the first thing that comes out of their mouth, well, what about their friends? You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, friends are friends. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, but when you feel like it's not safe to put your child in a position, screw the friends. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you can come up. My kids have this. They're not like I grew up timid. My children can make friends anywhere. Like, wherever they go, they're making friends. They're all loud and outspoken children. Like, I have no problems with them making friends in the future. Like, that's I'm sure they'll be fine in that
Mhm.
department. But as far as me doing what's right for the kid right now, you got to take a stand. You know what I'm saying? There's people that are too afraid of what other people are thinking, to make a decision like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get over that quick, you know.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, man. I guarantee you, when they grow up, you will. I guarantee you're going to be able to look back and see the effect you've had on your kids, and more importantly, they will be able to see it. They may not be able to see it now, but they will. I mean, it comes. And,
Yeah. I know that I'm looking, I'm glad. Thank you for that. Because you do have to go through a little bit, when you make that decision. It just comes with the territory, I guess. But hook that yarn. My children are 13, 8, 6, and 4. Yeah, my youngest, I gave her stuff to do. She's not of the age yet. They won't accept her just yet. But uh, if anybody, for on that subject, if anybody's thinking about homeschooling, it can be really hard Like the first year sucked. You know what I'm saying? I failed on that note. You know, my oldest daughter had a couple F's, and it was down to the last few weeks, and the teacher had to get involved. The principal got involved and said, you guys need to really crank it up in the last quarter, or else she's not gonna make it. I was like, oh shoot. And I thought it was gonna be easier than this. But to this, we just started last week. But this first week, oh my gosh, so much more simple. My children get up, they get on their laptop, they finish their homework for that day before class even starts. You know what I'm saying? So they're done within a couple hours now. You know, so we managed to fix. It was a sleep pattern that was really hurting us, getting to bed early, getting up early, and that's one thing we didn't master. Make sure assignments got done throughout the day. But if anybody's thinking about it, it's super easy now. It's really easy. Yeah.
What time do you make your kids go to bed?
Now between 8:30 and 9, between there. But
Yeah.
before that, because I used to always be up 4 or 5 in the morning. And these guys are up. They'll be in their room and just following what I do up till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I had to fix that.
Yeah, I always made my kids go to bed at 9 every night until they became teenagers and were able to go on dates and stuff. And boy, believe me, I should have been a lot rougher on my son than I was, but I was really tough on my daughter, and I may have been too tough. But man, that's hard for a dad not to be, very strict with his daughters. At least it was for me. I couldn't even hardly stand to watch a guy with his arm around my daughter for a long time. Either one of my daughters for a long time, man.
Yeah, I'm not ready for all that.
Oh, it's hard. I'm here to tell you.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that, man. And hook that you on. Yeah.
Scott's absolutely right.
Thanks, Scott. It was always 9 back in the day. Yeah. I remember, being put to bed super early. This year, I just let them. I guess my first year doing official homeschooling, because we didn't have the 1 year where it was kind of half because of, the whole stay at home situation, right? And so we got forced into going to kind of homeschooling, and that was stupid. The teachers were not prepared. They're not taught to teach like that. And then the next year, I officially went my first year homeschooling, and it was a bit of a challenge. But this year, it's been a breeze. I'm worried because I'm working from home now, and so I was like, I can't let I got to be there and take care of my work too at the same time. So I didn't know how I was going to do it, but it worked out. What's up, Monty?
Monty, hey brother.
Brother.
Yeah. Oh, while Monty said, I want to tell him, Monty, man, I apologize for the other night for whatever my part was in that discussion we was having. I didn't understand the situation that you were in, so I apologize, brother.
Yeah, I think next I want to go into Raw Dog.
Raw Dog. Thank you, Monty. Appreciate that.
I want to go into some of the a little bit more of the Tartaria stuff. I do have some footage of the Pasadena City Hall here, and that thing is for sure. You know how because it's whitewashed, right? And it was all there, and then they painted everything white. That's where we got the term whitewashed.
Oh yeah.
So you over here, Pasadena, you can still see, the original. I don't know, whatever paint or color that these things were on the top half of the building. And for some reason, they didn't touch it. But when you go through the building, you can see a lot of the old structures, those spikes, those big spike tower things, whatever they were supposed to be. They're all still there. Say the where they supposedly captured the electricity out of the air.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not. I mean, that's not the ones like the ones I've seen here. The modern ones, of course, but I know what you're talking about now. I didn't at first, but that's kind of like talking about those. Well, that'd be getting totally off the subject, so I won't go there.
Wow.
But that's in Pasadena, right?
Pasadena, yep. And that's a pretty pretty big city as far as the cities within LA County. Pasadena was one of the bigger ones. Like they got their own, what almost looks like downtown LA. So all the high rise buildings and stuff. For a small city, and they got I forgot about the bridge. They got this weird bridge that is just in the middle of nowhere. A lot of ghost hunters go there. A lot of YouTube ghost hunters go there because people throw themselves off of this bridge. I've taken pictures of the base of this bridge. That thing is massive. I mean, just a foot of it.
But it's
like
in the middle of nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere, and it's got these weird. When you drive, first time I noticed, I was driving on the freeway and I looked along the side, and there was like a road with all these street lights on it, and it was just, in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't tell if it was on a hill or nothing. And when I drove by it in the daytime, it's just this old style looking bridge that just goes up for some reason, and it comes down into a rich neighborhood. And yeah, it's like really haunted supposedly, but you could tell it's just out of place. Like it was like everything around in the area should have been like that, built like that thing. I gotta get the name of that thing, but I'll definitely put a video together on that subject.
Well, so how many of these spires are there in Pasadena? I mean,
they're all over.
It tells me that they have to know. Everybody has to know about the free energy stuff. Everybody.
They got those little towers. I can't count them. The obelisks are all over Pasadena.
Shit!
And they're like, some of them are like 8 feet, some are 12 feet, some are, I would say, maybe about 20, but they're all over the place in Pasadena. It's like Pasadena's a big one. Beverly Hills, big time. The old orphanage and everything. Beverly Hills still stands today as their town hall. I believe it was the orphanage, but I don't know if the orphanage got taken down actually. But for some reason, orphanages also are big in that. When it comes to that subject, they're just ridiculously built.
You mean with the obelisk?
With just the Tartaria tech on top on the roof.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get into the whole microchip thing. I'm still learning that part. How microchips kind of resemble the way buildings are maneuvered, to channel energy.
Now I've only seen one picture of that, and I've forgotten what the hell it looked like. So I don't know exactly what you're talking about there.
Well, it's pretty much the stuff that all the spikes and stuff that they built on the roofs. So the microchip, if you look at it, it's like a green board.
Oh, you talking about the ones that go into phones and things?
Yeah. So apparently we modeled that after blocks of buildings and the way that they are arranged.
Yeah.
To capture energy somehow.
Yeah, I got you. That's what you're saying now. Okay. I just misunderstood what you were saying there first. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Okay. So I got to do some research and put that together and put together a little presentation on that. Maybe we'll cover that in another episode.
Before I forget, I want to thank you personally for putting that video together. With me on again the other day. That was good. That was a great video.
Thanks, man. I had that sitting on my phone, though. That clip sitting on my phone. It was one night where I was in the drive-through trying to get a meal, and they were taking forever. There's a good spot close by here. I was in there for like 30 minutes and listening to you guys talk, you and Steve, and I was trying to get you to say the line because you read what's in the chat. I typed it in there. I was like, I want to see if he says it.
Oh, the cha line.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure what the hell you was talking about.
I couldn't order my food. I was dying in the car, man.
Yeah, that got me, man. I didn't know what you meant. What do you mean, cha?
Glad you guys liked that, man.
That was good. I don't know if it was. I think it might have been a little bit better than the first one, but they were both good. I watched them. I don't know how many times I watched that one. The first one I watched 3 or 4 times. Now this one, I think I watched it twice, if I remember right. But good job.
Thanks. I put that on. My wife was like, because my wife's parents are pastors, and then she was like, I don't think they're gonna like that. And I was like, I don't care.
Well, why wouldn't they like it though? I mean, I didn't see anything dirty in it.
Yeah, they're just like the old school traditional. You can't be talk like Samoans. You can't talk about sex in front of people. Like,
Oh,
like
okay.
it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like that's in our culture. It's just like it's kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that's why she was. They're like, they know your channel. I was like, I don't care.
Tell them come watch sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, drop a like next time. You know
Next time, tell them I'm gonna have Raw Dog Ronnie on here.
So then sometimes like they'll be upset and we'll be like, man, what are they upset about? And she was like, it's because your raw dog video. She's cool.
Well, if they can't watch something like that and laugh, man, I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
Because it's all done in fun. I mean, there ain't, to me,
Yeah.
it's no nastiness about it. It's just fun. Maybe a little raunchy.
Yeah.
I don't
Nothing
think it's
wrong. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I don't feel like there is. But we had a big old discussion about that the first time that the raw dogging came around. About the appropriateness of it. And how it might fit in with Christ and everything. Well, one guy, Travis, he was mentioning it, bringing it up. But and Travis don't even believe in God. But he
Really?
wrote, no, he don't, and he says he don't. But he put the whole Lord's Prayer in the chat.
Did he?
It didn't make any sense to me. Well, Travis don't make it. If you know Travis, he don't make no sense sometimes, and he does it on purpose.
Oh, that's
But no,
funny.
it was, man. That night I like laughed my butt plumb off, and then I seen that video the next day or two and laughed off again. You must have a heck of a sense of humor, David.
Oh yeah, I'm the guy who doesn't care over here. Like, I stopped caring about shit, about what people think and all that stuff. Life's too short, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta enjoy yourself. And as long as they're not purposely trying to be offensive, and you're good.
Exactly. Well, and you know what? Another thing, if you're going to be on YouTube, you've got to lose a little bit of the. Well, you got to lose some of it. You got to go strictly into a Bible teaching channel,
Yeah.
And be straight up.
Yep.
You can't be a little bent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And believe me, they don't nobody believe in Christ more than me. I definitely believe. I love Christ. I know He's my Savior. And I say that basically on every show. Sometimes I do forget to say it, but it just depends on what's going on in the chat and everything, and what the show is about. But anyway, I don't even one day ever doubt that I don't believe in Christ, because I do.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the push that got me here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to watch people's shows for a long time, and just something, I'm always about gathering information, learning something new. And when I was asked if I wanted to be a preacher again and take up that position, and I prayed about it, kept praying for wisdom. That's like, I pray for wisdom. I stopped praying for money. So that's one thing I changed in the past couple of years. I stopped praying for money. In my office, I have a financial service business. I'm known as BigSamoanDude, and that was my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I was about getting that car and that money life, but now it's about wisdom. And after praying for wisdom, this is what I was given. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is my new platform. It's no longer the regular pulpit. I'll let somebody else take that position. I'll just come here and ask people for prayer requests, as I always do. By the way, if you don't know, you could drop a prayer request, and we'll do our best to help you out. What's up, Scott?
What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
You guys are talking about a lot of things that I've talked about many times, but what's the guy? I don't know your name, other brother.
This is Ronnie.
Oh, that's Ronnie.
Raw dog.
Oh, that's the name you guys are saying, raw dog. Oh, that does sound bad. That does sound. I am a Christian. I would call myself a Christian, but I would not want my children watching a show called Raw Dog, right?
Well, that's what I became known as. My channel is Ronnie York, is Ronnie Cash, but that's just a nickname I got. Another nickname I got along the way.
Or they can go to school. They can go to school and learn about fisting. You
Now it just got even weirder. But
That's what they're teaching nowadays.
They're teaching fisting.
Are they
It's
though? I mean,
Yeah, it's in the syllabus.
I heard
now
something
when they
like
teach
that,
sexual
but
ed. When
the
they
way I
teach
see
sexual
that,
ed out here in California now, they teach you how to masturbate,
oh,
and
I
they teach
forgot.
fisting.
I forgot you're actually in California, like the belly of the beast.
I'm in LA, man. This is
Goodness.
crazy.
You're in the major belly of the beast. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
You
how
know,
far out?
I was reading the other day that California is seriously, it's it was and is the testing ground for China. You know, they're saying how they can make U.S. like China and California testing ground.
Like China 2.0. That's what we call it. China 2. Some of us call it China 2.0. Do you know that, David? Dave?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, we called California China 2.0 because he's right. That's what they're doing. They slow test everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's how Florida was too, though, bro. Listen, I mean, sorry, but David, or do you like Dave or David? I thought it was David, but no.
Either one.
So, like, Florida was the same way. In Tampa, where I'm from, same thing, dude. They would test everything on us in California, Boston, Massachusetts, New York City, and Chicago. All those like certain shoreline places, on the shore.
Yes.
Chemtrails, all these things. All these things that are on waterways, they always tested the big city, the bigger cities.
Have you heard of the Marine Kingdom?
The Marine Kingdom?
Yes.
I
No.
think I have.
This is kind of deep underground teachings, but
I like underground.
So apparently, there's the evil spirits that come out of the water, and it's in reference into something in Revelations. But that's why we see like weird creatures washing up. We get makeup. We get the homosexual spirit. It's all through the Marine Kingdom. Supposedly,
sorry, go ahead.
Satan's kingdom is down there in the Indian Ocean and also in the Atlantic. But it's pretty much any city that's big, that is by a big body of water. We're like under their spells, and we get all the BS that comes out of there.
Well, you know that everything is like maritime law too. Like think about that. Everything is water law, right? You know that, right?
That's where that came from. Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like the domain of that's the abyss. Like think about that, the abyss too. Oh yeah, I've thought about all this kind of stuff. People don't talk about this very much, but like even when people are saying aliens come from above, I'm like, no, they don't. I think they come from below, and they're not aliens; they're demons.
Yep.
Or you know what I mean?
You won't get more out of me on that.
So because I think David agrees, because I've talked to David a couple times, and so you seem to be on board with that's why I kind of partially why I called in, but I was going to call in about other things like how I know. Did I tell you, David? Like I know the guy because you guys were talking earlier about like top secret people that like I knew I literally met the guy that like was the test pilot for the stealth. It was a stealth bomber first, and then the stealth fighter was second.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, you guys were talking about that, like how do you know if they're real or not? No, there's little documentation. But the thing is, though, people like that are brainwashed, dude. Because I met the guy, and he's like, he told my dad, like, because he's friends with my dad, and he's like, chemtrails aren't real. I used to fly planes. I'm like, of course he would say that, right?
Yeah.
Of course he would say that because he's brainwashed. Dude, I looked him in the eye because I was waiting my whole life because my mom was best friends with his wife. And she said, he can't tell us what he does. These lights are being stupid. But he couldn't tell his family what he did for like 20 years, or no, 15 years. And then finally they told everybody like, oh, and that's how old that technology is. That stealth, the stealth, you guys obviously know.
Oh,
how you can't.
Where we get that?
Older than what we know. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, and that was like in the early 80s, dude. like early 80s, and then they didn't tell anybody until 95. I'm like, okay, so that's 15 years at least difference.
Hmm.
But
Well, that's
like
the TR3B. I mean, that thing's
Yep.
been around for I don't know how long. And
long time.
they still won't admit it. They don't have to admit it. I mean, 1 million people have seen it, cops and everything else reporting it all over everywhere.
Oh yeah, dude. I have a friend that that had a decent video of it. I mean, that I believe. Like, you know, some people like just show fake things, fake videos. You know that.
Oh,
They're
sure.
like, look, here's a triangle in the sky, right?
Mhm.
But like I've had a couple friends, like even Richie from Boston. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys know who that is. He's been talking about that for 8 years now, like
Who's
9 years
that?
now.
What was his name?
Richie from Boston. You know who that is,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Ronnie?
I have watched
Obviously.
him. It's been a long time.
Yeah, he hasn't been on, but I watch him on BitChute. That's who I first found this whole truther community. I didn't even know either of you. It doesn't matter, but like I didn't even know about this stuff, and then all of a sudden I saw Richard from Boston and Quantum of Conscience. You know who that is? You guys know who that is?
I don't.
I don't think so.
Quantum of Conscience. You guys really? That's
might.
weird.
There's a lot of people. I
You
said
probably
to, I just
do.
don't
Yeah.
see their stuff.
He used to be. He was called something else like 8 years ago, but
Mhm.
But yeah, I just found those guys, and I didn't know there was people like even like you guys. Like I wasn't on the computer. You know what I mean? Like I was playing music and like playing, or just raising a kid and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I didn't have a computer. I didn't know that there was people that said Sandy Hook was fake. You know, I mean, it was real. It was real. Just kidding. Sarcasm, because I'm
It's a
on
joke.
YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just a joke. It was
Yeah.
very
Joke.
real. It
I was
very
going to say, man, be careful.
But that's what I'm saying. But that was the first thing. That was the first thing I saw, though,
Mhm.
and I was
Well,
like, whatever.
Have you got a channel now?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be anything. And I'm actually.
I don't know what your name is. I don't know what to call you. What's your name?
My name is Scott.
Scott.
Oh, sorry. I keep thinking people know each other already.
Oh yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, that's why. Honestly, like, but the thing is, though, I wanted to ask Dave. So how long have you been calling out this bullshit with? I'm sorry to say bullshit, but like, because I've been saying this for a while with the kids, man. Like when you show like your thumbnail,
Mhm.
I've been saying like that show. My girlfriend and he's 16, so he's not that young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
They watch it sometimes, and I get like a cringe. I'm not saying cringe, but like that vibe. That
Yeah.
vibe when you have that feeling in your gut, you're like, this is not good, and I just walk away from it. But like, how long have you been doing that? Because you have a 13-year-old. You said the oldest.
Yeah. I've been talking about it for a while, but I didn't really start my channel till. Well, I
mean, like,
started talking on this channel. What's it?
I was gonna say, like, when did you notice that like this stuff was really bad for you? Like your 13-year-old, because like I was talking about this stuff for like 16 years, or 15
No,
years.
she's grown up with me, always telling her about this stuff.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've always been saying this is bad, and you have to understand, right? Like, okay, cool. I was just curious if you just found out, because it's just like I mean, dude.
Yeah, my
like,
children know.
Yeah, just like Ronnie even said. I mean, back in the day, our parents raised us. People said your parents were strict. It's like, no, they weren't. They were truthers, really, if you think about it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, go to bed at 9 o'clock, so you wake up at a proper time, and you go to school, and you don't talk back to your elders, or
I would always talk about it, but I would lay off. You know what I mean? I was just like, yeah. It's
Did
not
you
that
get like
important.
did you get like pushback from like the other people, like the regular, like what I mean, like the grandparents or the aunts or uncles, or
Hell
what I mean?
There was a time where my mom was like, "Stop talking about Mandela changes. Just read the book. Don't use the app. Don't use the Bible app. Use the book." You know what I'm saying? And then there's people that told me to get off my keyboard for a little bit and get that.
Well, I meant more of like the movies and the video game. Like, do they play video games?
Oh, no, my children. Well, yeah, they play that. They only play Roadblocks.
Oh, that's not that big of a deal, I guess, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
meant more. Yeah. So you're actually in the good age, like. So yeah, because my 16-year-old, he's just hardcore in the video games, and I've been, I was running my mouth about it for the past like 10 years now. Like saying, don't let these kids play, these video games, and they're like, no, it's okay. It's not okay, dude. It's
yeah.
not.
Yeah, I agree.
I know but that's what I'm saying. But most people don't agree with us. That's
Mhm.
what I'm saying.
No, they don't. No, they certainly don't. Everybody I know lets their kids play video games of any kind. It don't really much matter, so long as they're out of their hair, and not bothering the
Yep.
parent.
It's the culture too. It's just the way the culture.
Kick
So I
them
get.
kids in the butt, and make them get outside and play is what you need to do. That's my opinion of it. Mhm.
I
So
know,
those of
dude.
us that get involved in this conversation and on these topics, there are people that will add like, okay, I got people that they hear me and they'll just completely ignore me. Then I got people that hear me, and a small percentage of them, friends and family that are hearing what I'm doing now, and they're like, "Bro, I tune in, I'm watching, it's interesting." And then I get some another bunch, and they're the types who will hear me, and it would kind of make sense to them, but then they're gonna say, "Well, what's the point? Like, why would you talk about it? Like, as long as you believe in Jesus, you're good. As long as you go to church and read the Bible and follow God, you're good. Why do you even have to address all these things?" There's that group too, right?
Can I ask a question?
And go ahead.
Can I ask you a question like about that? Because I've been thinking about that all day long. I mean, I
Mhm.
think about that a lot about how just I don't believe. I used to believe when I was like really young, like 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. If
Uh-huh.
you just say, "I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior," I will go to heaven. John 3:16, right? But
Yeah.
have you like? Because I know you watch. I know you. And don't you think it's a lot more than that? I mean, do you think that's a lot more? It's a lot more like walking like Jesus and not just believing in Him.
That's okay. So Jesus Christ is for your salvation, right? But as far as your walk, that
He
is
showed
when
it.
the works. That's where the works come in, because we don't go to heaven based on our works. You know what I'm saying? But our walk is that's where the walks the works that the Bible talks about. That's where that's
Yes, faith.
included.
It
That's
starts
that
with faith, and then works happen after that.
Yeah, and the more that you know, the more we're the ones that are going to be challenged even more so than those who don't know. You know what I'm saying? So just because we
Yeah,
got
it,
that
it
information,
says that specifically too. Yeah,
yeah, because
And don't
the
be
ones that
ashamed of
know.
his name. Do not be ashamed of his name.
yeah,
Proclaim his
absolutely.
name.
His
And
name
so
is his authority. Yeah,
so
his name is who he was. Yeah,
when I look at people that that are Christians and they question what we do and what we talk about, and they was like, "Oh, you're just highlighting the evil. You're just focusing on the darkness." I was like, "No, it's not. It's because here's the thing: if people like us don't talk, the ones that go to church like normal folks, they're gonna be told one day, "Oh, you can't go to church no more." And that's already happened, and then they just sit at home and they listen. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like,
yeah.
now
Well,
if you're going to tell me something for safety, that's one thing. But once you interfere with my worship, now you cross the line. That's when I started my channel. That's when I got fed up. And I'm like, what? I don't give a damn no more. I'm going to go ahead and, speak what I
well,
got to
you
speak.
obviously, yeah, you started your channel because you wanted to speak out about something, right? Like I told you before, Ezekiel 33.
Mm-hmm.
Sound your trumpet means speak out. Speak out against the nonsense. Speak out against the truth. And
Yeah.
speak truth. Always speak truth. The
Yeah.
Bible always says, doesn't it always say, this be honest and speak truth?
All right.
Doesn't it? Though, a
Yeah.
lot of it.
Yeah. I'd rather, be annoying in their eyes, but be speaking the truth
Yeah.
than sit
Just like
there and be silent. You know what I'm saying?
just like Jesus said, if they hate you, you best believe that they hated me before they hated you.
Yeah. Because
Obviously.
sometimes I
You
think
know what I
about it
mean?
like, where would I be if certain people didn't have podcasts back in the day and taught this stuff back in the day on on whatever platforms? Where would I be if I didn't get that stuff? If I didn't receive that stuff, I'd still be all up in Disney and Marvel, just like people in my family are, being lost in that and just hanging
This
on every single episode and
brings
concerned
up
about this
interesting
stuff.
Oh, you
question.
mean if
Where do y'all think we are in Bible prophecy now? Do you guys think that we're in the end times now? And who do you
oh,
think end times are for?
I'll be right back, but this is the whole thing. Go ahead, David. David.
I think that we're at the very, very end. I said I still go to a normal church that teaches that what's that thing? Oh my gosh, at the tip of my tongue. Where everybody gets called up.
Oh, the rapture.
The rapture. That
Yeah.
they're still teaching the rapture's coming, and that's what I grew up with. Well, I was just looking around at things like, oh man, it looks like that's already done, and so we're living in the age where people are being deceived in the little season at the end.
You know what I think it is, and I studied the Bible so long it's not even funny. And what I used to think was that the end time is for everybody, all people.
That's the final judgment. That's the final judgment.
Yeah, but now, right now, in my opinion, what we're in is the end time, but it's not the end time for the good people of the earth. It's good end time for the bad people of the earth. I think the bad people are now being removed, and before this is all said and done, it's going on right now. I think that they'll all be. I mean, there's still going to be bad people here, but I'm talking about the so-called elites. I think they're the ones that are, the ones been doing all this evil stuff all around the world with the banking system and all that. I think are the ones. Myself, I think are the ones that are being removed.
You mean like eventually, but not right? Oh, you mean like right now they're going to be removed?
I mean, they are being removed right now.
So David, I've been thinking about this obviously for like seriously 3 years now. I've been talking about what you talked about, the short season, the little season, the time period where Satan is released from the pit, and then he comes to gather all the it's the whole revelation, right? Obviously you do. I've been talking about this for a while now. I've done shows about it. We've researched it, like looked it up. And I called in to Sean
Griffin.
Yeah, Sean Griffin in Kingdom in Context. Yeah. And he's against it, or not against. Okay, he is against it, but
he is.
But what I always say is this, okay? It doesn't matter if we're in like pre-trib. Well, obviously we're not pre-trib because we're definitely in trib somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't matter if we're before the second time he comes back, and that part before the what Sean Griffin believes, or if we're after that, because no matter what, it's if you really read the Bible and you really read scriptures, it doesn't matter which way you go, you still should be following Yah and believing in his son who came to die for our sins and to walk like him, right?
Yeah.
To do exactly what like people like you are trying to do, right? The people like we are all trying to do.
Right.
Do the right things, right? And then we will go forth towards him when he finally judges everyone, because everyone dies, right? Everyone, no matter what, everyone, all three of us will be dead, right? And then our souls will be judged by Yahusha. I call him, like, thank you for saying that, because that's how it doesn't matter if you say Yahusha, Yeshua, Jesus. It's all different translations of the same character, of the same Messiah who showed us how to live and died for our sins, right?
Right. That part is the part that it doesn't matter if it's pre or or in the tribulation.
Yeah, it doesn't matter either way, right? Because
so I'm glad we have that part right. You know what I'm saying? So the other parts, there's evidence to show
the timeline really doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something else right quick.
But I do really quick though, Ronnie. Really quick though, I do believe. I don't wholeheartedly believe, but I do think there's a really good chance that we are in that time. We are in the aftermath of all the other things because of the melting of things and stuff that I've seen like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've really researched a lot of this stuff where I feel like we could be in there, and I haven't had anybody tell me that there's no way that we can't be in that time period of Revelation.
We're definitely in the end times. One way,
either way.
Yeah, whether we're all taken out or whether it's just them, my own opinion is I think it's going to be them. I mean, when you read the Bible closely, and you got to understand that it wasn't just the good guys that were writing the Bible. The bad guys are throwing in a little bit of their crooked stuff too, and always have. So when you read the Bible and it talks about the end times, it makes it sound like it's for everybody. But that's because I think, and it's just my opinion, I think that they threw their own stuff in there somewhere along the line. Well, as matter of fact, the King James Version in the Old Testament tells about the priests were too lazy to do their own writing, so they hired other priests or hired them,
scribes.
Yeah, and they're the ones that did the writing. So they just wrote down anything. They all they had to do was change one little jot here or there, in Hebrew. Yeah.
No, I know, and I know that they definitely had scribes, of course, because not all these, especially the prophets weren't really writing. Like Jeremiah's prophet was, like he was actually more of a prophet than Jeremiah, but he was the one writing. The thing is, though, what I believe in is when the truth comes through the word, like, like there's words that people write, like it doesn't matter what, there's all kinds of scriptures, right? There's a lot of scriptures they took out. Have you ever read those, Ronnie? Like Baruch, Second Baruch, Jubilees, and the Sirach, all those different books that they took out in the Nicene Creed. Have you heard about this?
I read the book of Jubilees, but I haven't. It's been so long that, and mainly I try to stick with the Bible, which is probably a mistake on my part.
Yeah, well, no, it's not a mistake. I would not say that's a mistake, because
no, but I'm saying to learn it all, or
it's cool. It's cool to read the certain books that like they took out, and it's also cool to learn what was bad. And when you feel the vibe, not to cut you off, but like to feel the vibe. I call it a vibe. I mean, when you read words, you have a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you guys agree, right? Like people go, "Do you have a vibe about the word of the Bible?" They start arguing with you. I'm like, listen, I'm just saying how I feel. It's just called a vibe, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and you can just feel like it's a contrast. Like it seems like maybe that should not be, like the Book of Thomas is one of those. You ever read that, David?
I don't think I read Thomas. There's a few Thomas. Of the Apocrypha I gotta get to.
Yeah, the Apocrypha. I think it is in the Apocrypha. Yeah, see, like even the Apocrypha, you know what that is, right, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the old. It's the Greek, like the Greek Septuagint, the Apocrypha. They're old texts, and some of them aren't good, and that's why you have to discern for yourself when you read books.
Well, and also there's many books that haven't been published about the Bible that they took out, in the Council of Nicaea or Trent, whichever one it was.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah,
books. Yeah. Well, we don't know what the heck they took out.
They took a lot out, and they even took out books that we don't even know about in the Roman Catholic, in the Vatican. That's the thing that I always wonder about. If you guys, like, obviously, Dave, you've read the Bible, and Jude is like the shortest book, and it's like one of my favorites. I'm like, well, what did Jude say? And they took it out, dude. I guarantee you. And James too. James.
Yeah, James didn't have a whole lot to say. If that was all he had to say, I mean, he might as well just not said anything, because it was so short.
Exactly. Yeah. But they took it out, dude. Yeah. I'm just guessing. I'm not saying and I'm not saying what do you call it? Absolute. I'm not saying it's absolute, but I feel that there's so many really good stuff that, like, even John wrote. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that's all, I guarantee you, it's all in some kind of archives,
Especially when we got Jesus and some of the other people in the Bible that are referring to, like Jasher and Enoch. You know what I'm saying? So they're just
absolutely. Born Enoch was a heck of a book.
Yeah. So I got shit for that on Facebook.
Of course.
Talking about Sunday and, letting people know where we got Sunday from. And people were like, I got people like pastors that are like, well, where'd you get your information? And, someone who told my wife, like, hey, doesn't he know that men got together and decided that this was the right way? And I was like, well, who gave men the authority to take out of the Bible? Like,
exactly.
I'm sorry, say, like, I thought the Bible said that nobody's supposed to take or add to it. You know what I'm saying?
And
And so
it says no man. It says trust no man. Make
yeah,
every man a liar. So what are we trusting men for?
Well, it said
exactly.
anybody that removes one jot or one tittle or changes it
That
Mhm.
will be
that's
put to
in
death.
Malachi, I'm pretty sure.
And
At
it
the end of
kind of
it.
peeves me. I get irritated with that because a lot of people get pissed off at Christianity when Christianity, it's supposed to be the right thing. It's just it's mixed up, and even the word Christianity is a borrowed term. You know what I'm saying? And so we weren't
Yeah,
called Christians.
Christian was just what they called the followers of Yah. That's what of
Yeah,
Yahusha, like the followers of the Messiah, Jesus.
yeah.
You
So they
know,
they
just
they
like the
adopt
Jesuits,
they took that word and among other
they
things and
co-opted. They
yeah,
co-opt
you know what
all
I'm
of
saying?
it. Yeah, it
You did.
So
sucks.
when we break against popular thought, we get people that are upset and they're like, "Oh, well, you can't talk about this." And yeah, I got a few people on Facebook that went after me for that, and I'm okay with it. That's why I do it because you got to shake things up a little bit in order to get people out of that mold. They're just so comfortable in that same lifestyle when they have no idea why they do the things that they're doing, like
You're
the big
totally right.
media.
You're totally right. Let me ask you a question really quick though, because so you go to a regular church, right? Like a real church,
I do.
still,
I support
and you're
my
still,
father-in-law.
yeah, and that's cool, man. Because I used to go, what is it? It's not Baptist. What is it? It's like I've seen, what is it called? Like the actual, what they call non-denominational.
Yeah.
Is that what it
Yep.
is?
Yep. That's
What it?
ours too. Non-denominational.
No, I'm asking you. Is that what yours is? Because I don't go to a church. I haven't gone to a
Yeah.
church in forever.
Yeah. The church I'm at right now, my father-in-law is the pastor. It's a non-denominational
Okay,
church.
I
yeah,
think that's what
is
everybody needs to be is non-denominational because all the
that's how it?
all the
Yeah,
religions are meant to split us up.
Yeah.
yeah. See,
Exactly.
that's why I used to think that like I wanted to go to one of those, but the thing is, they're still denominational though, aren't they?
Because they
Right?
still carry on the practices that they received from the church they were at before.
Yeah,
Like he came from
that's
the
what I'm
Assembly of
saying.
God. You
That's my
know.
point,
Yep.
brother. And my point is I just cut you off, but like to say that it's cool that you still hold true to your beliefs and you still talk out about like the truth like this, like you know what I mean,
We
and you're
have
not
to.
scared. You're not,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you would ever be scared. I'm not calling a Samoan scared. That's a joke. But
You're too big for
what I'm saying is it's cool that you do speak out like this publicly about the fact that it's partially flawed.
Yeah.
I'm just saying partially flawed. Does that mean
No, that's
I don't
absolutely correct.
correct,
That's what
right?
it
Yeah,
is.
I'm just saying it's cool to see that. Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I wish more people would do it, man, because
I know, and
it's
that's why. Go ahead.
they tell me
Sorry.
one of my coaches in business taught me because when we help people fix whatever they're doing, whatever their financial makeup is in finances, we do insurance and savings and retirement plans. People are like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to convert into what you're doing because I've been doing it like this for so long. But what we tell them is like, just because you've been doing something wrong for such a long time doesn't mean it's doesn't make it right. Like you got to change things up. And when I see the
Thinking outside the
children of this,
box.
yeah, exactly. So people are just so they're comfortable where they're at. That's pretty much what it is.
Well, I
Uh,
hadn't gone to church in a long time myself, and the church where I last went to church at, the pastor was one of my best friends, and I went there for a while, and they would, to me, both the Old Testament and the New Testament work together. And so I asked him one day, why don't y'all teach the Old Testament here? And he said, well, we're like all churches, we teach the New. And I said, well, I
See,
get that, I understand that, but why don't you teach the Old Testament too? Because they work together. But
yes,
it
yes.
right.
wasn't just that. I asked other
All I have to
questions
say is
too
thumbs up
that he would not
Mhm.
answer or couldn't answer.
for real.
And so
The
I just
first time,
kind of cut
first,
out.
sorry, but
No,
first
go
time
ahead.
I came across that was when I first became a Sunday school teacher. And this one Bibles were not at the 99-cent store yet. Now they're at the 99-cent store. You can get them free, and we got the apps. But before all that, we had to find Bibles for the kids in our Sunday school because we just started the church. And I was looking around like, man, I don't got money for all these kids to have a Bible. And I started doing some research, and I remember the penny savers. I don't know, you guys remember penny savers?
Oh, yes.
So the Penny Saver magazine had an advertisement for free Bibles. I'm like, oh, this is what I need.
Mhm.
And then I called the number, and he goes, what do you need the Bibles for? And I'm like, well, I'm a brand new Sunday school teacher, and I got so many students, and I need Bibles for all of them. And so he goes, okay, I'm going to send this to you on one condition. And I go, what's that? He goes, you promise me you will never have your students read the Old Testament. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, like
What's it in there for then?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like,
He really
okay.
said that?
Wait, what?
Yeah, he made
Wait,
me
wait,
promise.
whoa! I missed it. What did you say? Who said not to read the Old Testament?
Yeah, back in the day when I became a Sunday school teacher and I needed
Yeah, I know.
Bibles, I called this number for free Bibles on the Penny Saver, and the guy said, "How many do you need?" I
He
told him
said
how
don't.
many.
He said don't let them read the Old Testament if you buy
Yeah.
my books.
No, I'll send you
If
the
you get
free
them for free.
Bibles, but you have to promise
Oh,
me never
they're
to let your
free.
students read the Old Testament. And so
Wow.
I just said okay, just to get the free Bibles. But I
You
was
said
like,
fine. Yeah.
yeah,
You're
these
not
guys are
lying.
nuts. What are you talking about? So,
If you just say,
but here's the thing: he sent me that, and he sent me all the Kent Hovind DVDs. You know what I'm saying? You know, so
Ken Hovind too.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I'm like, why did he send me that dinosaur propaganda? You know,
Oh,
yeah, you know what I mean? So more space propaganda. They sent me all that stuff.
Yeah, but see, of course, you obviously agree with what Ronnie said, and I totally agree. The Old Testament, and they shouldn't even be called Old and New. It should be called just the Testament, or just the Bible, or you know what I mean?
Well, of course, why are they both in the same book? I mean, because don't make any sense.
The thing is, though, when you really look into it, the Old Testament talks about Jesus a lot, dude, a lot more than they say. They don't want you to know that.
Or they tell about him coming, exactly. They definitely
do.
Coming in many places.
Many places. I love that. See, Ronnie knows it. I love that. See, I don't talk to that many people like David and Ronnie that really, really know these things. That's cool. That's awesome.
I love the Bible. I don't care for anybody knowing. I love the Bible.
I don't even like books. I like one book.
Even if you don't believe in God, the Bible is one of the most interesting books you can read. I mean,
it's true. It's true.
It's got some darn good stories in it.
Yeah, if you want to know what's going on and what's coming, definitely worth taking a look.
That's for sure.
Well, no, it's like I don't read books. Do you read books, Dave? Do you like to read books other than the Bible?
I do like to read. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I've never read any book ever except for the Bible.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, seriously. And I'm like I went through college. I mean, I don't like books, dude. Books are boring to me. The Bible is the best book.
It's the only one that really matters.
I mean, and I'm not even joking.
Well, David, I hate to, but I'm going to jump down. It's after 3 o'clock here. I need to get in bed, my man.
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks for coming on, Ron. I'm about to lock it too.
I got 4:10 here.
I got the rugby sevens tomorrow.
Thanks for having me on.
Like I always say, praise Yah always and forever, because always and then forever.
Absolutely.
Praise him always and forever. Peace, guys.
You too. Nice meeting you, Scott.
Thanks for coming on, brother.
See you, David.
Peace, brother. Take care. Thanks for being on here, Ron. I appreciate you coming on, and you made it fun, man. So thank you so much for the conversation, and looking forward to doing this some more.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Let me know when you're coming on, and I'll do my best to be there. I'll be here. So, and I enjoyed it. Thanks for letting me come up. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And anytime we could talk about the Bible forever. Every show we could talk about it.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I love to do that. Yeah.
Have a long show every time. A long show every time.
I gotta get back on it again, man, and start re-upping on this stuff. But I feel like getting rusty. But yeah, as we all should. We gotta get
Yeah. Well, you ain't
in there, man.
Now I'm rusty too. I hadn't studied anywhere near enough here lately. I need to get back in it too. I've been wanting to do a show on it myself. Compare biblical times to now, what the Bible said, and nowadays, and I haven't done it yet. I mean, I have many ideas in my head, but I hadn't put it on paper or anything, and that's what I need to do. But anyway, thank you, my man, and we'll see you on the my next show, your next show, somebody's next show.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good night, chat. Appreciate all you guys being here.
All right. Appreciate it, Ronnie.
You bet.
Thanks
Love
so
you,
much,
my man.
Love you too, brother. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, man, for all you guys in the chat for stopping by, showing love and support. Like we talked about at the beginning of this show, of this podcast, every piece, we got to put this thing together one piece at a time. Everybody's got a couple pieces of the truth puzzle. Some of us have more than others. Some of us are brand new. Whether you're new to this stuff or not, follow these guys. And everybody here talks about some great stuff. Ron, he's always got good content, and also I think some of these V's got a good channel. Hook That Yarn, Crystal, she's an awesome person. Uncool Paranoia, Miss T, thank you for stopping by. Everybody in the chat, Find the Kino, and that was funny. Thank you guys for helping out with all the trolls that came out earlier. We got some haters on Yarn. I'll explain that later for those of you who don't know. But this was fun. Again, stay away from Disney and all the things that they're trying to teach. And if you're going to watch, you can go ahead and watch. I can't stop that. But at least be aware so that, we can do what the Bible says and be aware of the enemy's devices so that the enemy doesn't take advantage of us. As long as you're aware, you're good. You're covered by the blood of Jesus, and they can't mess with you. All right. So before I go, just know that Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yahusha, whatever you call him, is our Lord and Savior, and He's got your back. And so again, if you got any prayer requests, you feel free to drop it to me, and let me put my email. You can also email if you don't want anybody else to see prayer requests or whatever it is you might need help with. We'll do our best to help you out. In the meantime, God bless you guys. Absolutely keep your head on a swivel. Keep an eye out for all the propaganda and all that stuff they're trying to get you guys all mixed up with. And you be safe. Stay blessed. See you guys soon in the chats.